Well, hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of The Goldie Show. And we have an incredibly hot episode tonight. And I'm not talking about the weather outside, because the weather outside is incredibly hot right now. In fact, where I am, it's very, very hot. But I'm guessing that for anyone who's not in Australia or in the Southern Hemisphere, it's pretty hot outside right now. So get settled in because we have a lot to go over. I'm going to start with the latest breaking news, and then I'm just going to go back a little bit and start from the beginning. So let's start with just the latest breaking updates coming from inside of occupied Iran. So let's just start a little bit earlier. What was it? So, where is it? Here we go. 5 hours. Yeah, like guys, so one thing I can tell you is that whenever Shin starts swearing on his X accounts, that's when you know there's a lot going on and he's feeling overwhelmed. And by the way, I forgot to mention for everyone who is tuning in, let me know in the live stream chat where you are tuning in from. So I see people from north of Buffalo, Florida, California. Wow, all over. Typical Florida weather. I love that. Yeah, let me know. And then if you're watching if you're watching the live stream afterwards, let me know in the video comments. Always cool. Oh, wow, London. Galveston, Texas, Austria. Wow, Austria. I visited Austria about, I'm aging myself now, about 15 years ago or so. I had the opportunity to visit Austria. I actually spent 3 weeks just touring Austria. This is before the Durkas took over, because I know there's a lot of Durkas in Austria right now. But one thing that's really interesting is even back then, like 15, 16 years ago, when I visited Austria, I remember speaking with some amazing Austrian people, and they were basically like, these are the no-go zones. And I was like, what's a no-go zone? This is where like the Muslims are, and it's a dangerous place for, a young lady who's traveling on her own to go. And I was like, wait, what? Like that doesn't seem right. And so I tried going to one of these no-go zones, and yeah, after like 1 minute, I just turned around and I left. So yeah, Austria, beautiful country. Some of the best beer, and the culture is amazing as well. The people, super friendly. Like I remember when I was visited Austria, just everyone was super friendly. I made a lot of friends, and yeah, it was just an amazing time. So love Austria, beautiful country. And so the cities in Austria that I visited was oh my gosh, so obviously Vienna, and then I visited Innsbruck, and then I also visited Graz. Graz is like the city with like the giant medieval fort or something, and then of course I visited Innsbruck as well. So all these Austrian cities I visited. So wonderful, wonderful place. So very cool to see Austrians as well, and then I'm seeing everyone else as well. So there you go. I Someone saying I don't look old. Thank you, I guess. I appreciate that. Yeah, I get this reference. I get this reference. That's from Dumb and Dumber. Let's put a shrimp on the bob, eh? Yeah, I remember that. Um all right. Okay, so let's get to the latest breaking news, and then I'm going to take it back a little bit, and we're going to go to basically why all of this is happening. So, a couple hours ago, or a few hours ago, Shin was posting. Okay, so here we go. Let's go back to earlier this morning. 16 hours. Here we go. So this is from like the last time that I gave updates on the latest breaking with the current conflict between the Islamic regime and the United States. Of course, it's not. I mean, it's a conflict, but it's not like a war, right? Sorry, I'm just getting this random message on WhatsApp that distracted me. All right. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so not only do we have Austrians watching, guys, we also have Australians watching. Guys, this is like when worlds collide. Okay, now we are literally, okay, I just have to say this because, I actually this is amazing. This is when worlds collide. So now not only are the Austrians watching, the Australians are also watching. So this reminds me of that scene in Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey like tries to, he's in the limousine and he like pretends he's the guy in the back, and then he pulls up to this like hot girl and he's like, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "I'm from Austria," in her accent. Then he's like, "Good day, mate. Let's put a shrimp on the bob, eh?" So there you go. We have the Austrians and the Australians here. I love that. I can't play the scene because it would get copyright striked, but I love that. I love that. And sending love to everyone in Australia. I definitely want to visit at some point. I've heard amazing things about Australia. Amazing, wonderful people. So welcome everyone from around the world, from Austria to Australia. There we go. Lansing, Michigan. Okay, thank you. Yes, so we have, obviously we know America's in the house because we have a lot of American viewers, and sending huge props and respect to all of our American viewers as well. So yes, welcome everyone. Honestly, it makes my day when I hear about all the different places that people are from, because it just shows how global we actually are. Okay, well let's get to the boom booms. Let's get to the boom booms. So, about 24 hours ago, sirens were activated. Residents and citizens remain calm, head to the nearest safe location, and follow updates via official channels. That was in Bahrain. So again, if we look at the map, this is Bahrain. Now, you know what? This pisses me off because someone on Google Maps changed the name of the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Gulf, and it's literally never been called the Arabian Gulf. So this is like a pet peeve of mine. Like I don't know how to get rid of this. How do you even like get rid of that? Like, why did they change it to the Arabian Gulf? Like, that's such a lose from Google, right? So anyways, I need to find like a map that doesn't include the, Arabian Gulf, right? Like, you guys literally have a sea. You guys literally have a sea. You have the Arabian Sea. It's called the Persian Gulf for a reason, because the Persian Gulf and the Persians existed for thousands of years. Anyways. But anyway, so let me just, I'll do the zoomed out version. See, guys, like, this is the Arabian Sea. So the Arabs already have a body of water named after them. So stop trying to conquer the Persian Gulf. The Persian Gulf is Iranian, and it's always going to be the Persian Gulf. But anyways, this is Iran. This little tiny area here, this is Bahrain, okay? And I'm purposely not zooming in, because if I zoom in, like, how much can I zoom in before we see? Okay, yeah, there you go. I can't. There you go. So wait, where's Bahrain? Bahrain is like this tiny island. So this is Qatar, okay? This is this little offshoot of Saudi Arabia. That's Qatar. Bahrain is this tiny island right here. So when we zoom out, it's you can't even see it, right? You can't even see Bahrain when I zoom out far enough to, not show the Arabian Gulf. Like, what is that? I'm sorry, what is that? It's the Persian Gulf, right? You guys have the Arabian Sea, so just, I'm just saying. Anyway, so Bahrain has been attacked 24 hours ago by the IRGC, okay? So that was happening about 19, 20 hours ago. And then there was an attack, more attacks. A tanker has reported being hit by a missile while transiting outbound on the southern route. And remember, President Trump was very clear. He said last week that every time the Islamic regime hits, the United States will respond 20 times more. Now, keep in mind, even though this conflict is looking like a war, it's not legally a war. Because if President Trump was going to call this a war, Congress would have to get involved. However, it is perfectly legitimate for the commander-in-chief to order the US military to engage in retaliatory offensive strikes, if their service members, or their assets, or whatever the case might be, are being attacked and are threatened by an enemy, right? So that's how President Trump is sort of getting around this whole concept of labeling it as a war, right? He calls it an excursion. He calls it a conflict. He calls it retaliation, but he doesn't actually call it a war anymore. Because the last time, the Democrats, because they support the Islamic regime, they tried to shut it down. So President Trump is being much more smart this time around. So what we're seeing is pretty much a war, except in the name itself, right? It's the same thing with the ceasefire. Remember, I kept on saying this is the least ceasefire I've ever experienced, because even though the ceasefire was in effect, the United States military was still responding to Islamic regime aggression. So now let's go to this post from about 24 hours ago, where the Islamic regime hit another tanker that was transiting outbound on the southern route. Oops. So that was that. And then numerous blasts in Bushehr province, Iran. So where is Bushehr? Bushehr is here. Okay, let me pull it up. Bushehr. Oh. Bushehr is So if we zoom out, okay. Actually, give me a moment. Let me do it this way. If anyone has like a good map or something that like is better than Google, and it doesn't like say Arabian Gulf, let me know. Like send me a link or something. Cuz this Google Maps thing of like that's really annoying. It's actually like super annoying. All right, but I digress. So, Bushehr is right here, okay? So it's literally in the southern part. It's a port city. Yeah, but Tusi has it, but that's his own thing. That's like his own internal thing, right? Like I don't think that's like that's not a publicly available thing. I'm not gonna get Tusi's map, guys. That would be like freeloading off of him. Like Tusi and his team worked hard on that map. I just have to figure out a way to get my own eventually. But anyway, so and I guys, by the way, my bubbly flavored drink tonight is blueberry pomegranate. So there you go. So this is Bushehr. It's a port city. Okay, so Bushehr was being heavily attacked, and that's where where it is. Now, what is significant about Bushehr? I'm going to get into that. I'm going to be discussing and sharing the significance of all these different cities that are currently under attack by the Islamic regime. So there was Bushehr. Let me show you some footage. So Vahid Online posted this 12 hours ago, and he writes, according to citizens' reports, around 12:45, so that's around 12:45 noon because it's daylight outside when the videos were taken, attacks were once again launched on points in Bushehr, resulting in more than 10 explosions. Received footage Tuesday. This is in July 23. This is the Iranian calendar. So today, that's Tuesday, Seshanbe 23 tir. So today, in the Iranian calendar, not the Muslim calendar. The Muslim calendar is different. This is the Iranian calendar. It's the 23rd day of the month of Tir, Tir. So sometimes the X translation doesn't get it properly. So the Tuesday part is correct, the 23rd part is correct, but it's not July. It's the 23rd of Tir, which converts to July 14. So here's footage. So you can see this big explosion. Guys, this also flies in the face of all those people who are theorizing about, like President Trump will or will not attack at a certain day or time because, of the full moon or whatever. Guys, the United States is literally attacking IRGC bases in broad daylight, and the Islamic regime is unable to defend itself, right? Like the fact that the United States is attacking IRGC bases in broad daylight, right? That in and of itself is proof that the IRGC has no military or navy or air defense or anything like that. All they have are just a bunch of random ballistic missiles that they've hidden in their underground cities, and then once in a while they'll come out with one of them, and they'll send ballistic missiles at one country or another, but they have no way of defending themselves because every single time they launch a ballistic missile, the United States comes in literally in broad daylight and is just booming them to heck. Like, watch this again. Broad daylight. Yeah. And then some people are like literally insane enough to claim that the United States is losing and the Islamic regime has never been stronger, which is absolutely wild to me. So here's more footage. More footage. Wow, look at that. So he says, Hamin al-an seshanbe. Hamin al-an means right now in Persian, And then Sishambe means Tuesday. So they're saying right now on Tuesday, they just hit this IRGC base in Bushehr. And then he says 3 p.m. So that was 3 p.m. Iran time. Let's see what that is. So 3 p.m. Iran time was 6:30 a.m. Eastern. So at 6:30 a.m. Eastern today, the United States, CENTCOM, they were literally booming IRGC bases in occupied Iran. Can you also tell how calm he is, right? Like, this is how you could tell the difference between a regular, normal Iranian person and, one of those Durkas, like the Allahu Akbar, right? Like, so he is very calmly filming the aftermath of the United States destroying an IRGC base. And unlike the Muslim Nazi occupiers, right? He's not going, Allahu Akbar, death to America or whatever, right? He's literally just very calmly, like he's super chill. He's super chill. He's just calmly filming this. And he just said, right now, they hit a base in Bushehr, 3 p.m., July 14th. There you go. So that's what a real Iranian sounds like. That's what like a normal Iranian sounds like, right? Like no Allahu Akbars, no death to Americas, nothing like that. Just very calm and calculated. So that was from 6:30 a.m. So about 14 hours ago. 14 hours ago, they were hitting Bushehr. Now, what is so important about Bushehr? I will get to that in a little bit. Let me see if I have my notes here ready to go because I have Bushehr here. So this is okay. Just trying to find my notes here. Okay. No, that's not the one. Okay. Okay. So this is the important part about Bushehr here, okay? Where's the Bushehr? Okay. One moment here. Let me just find this. All right. So this is what's important about Bushehr. Well, there's a few cities. There's a few cities that have been hit today. So let me just explain why these cities are being hit today. Okay. So the cities of Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, and Mohshar. So let me pull up Bandar Abbas and Mohshar so you know where that is as well. Okay. So this is Mohshar. And it's actually called Bandar Mohshar. For those of you who've been paying attention, do you remember what Bandar means? Do you guys remember what Bandar means? So this is where Mohshar is. Exactly. Harbor or port. Exactly. See? Oh my gosh, you guys are paying attention. Harbor. Exactly. Well, Omi, that's cheating. You're Iranian. You already know what it means. Timmy, yeah, port, harbor. Yeah, exactly. Port. Exactly. It means like a port or a harbor, mostly port. So yeah, exactly. Port. So Mohshar is actually called Bandar Mahshar. We just call it Mahshar for short. So that's Bandar Mahshar, okay? And that's in Khuzestan. Yeah, I thought so. So Bandar Mahshar is not that far from Ahvaz. Remember, I was born in Ahvaz, and Bandar Mahshar is here. So not a like very long distance, right? Maybe like a couple of hours drive, not even like a 1 hour, 1.5 hour drive, maybe. So yeah, there's Ahvaz where I was born, and this is Bandar Mahshar in Khuzestan. So there you go. So Bandar Mahshar is there, and then Bandar Abbas is down here, and then Bushehr is over here. Okay, so these are the three major cities that have been hit today only by the Islamic regime. So just think about that. So the southwestern part of Iran, three major amongst all the other places, three major cities have been heavily bombarded in the last 24 hours. And I'm going to explain why these three port cities, are under U.S. bombardment. Well, I mean, not the cities themselves, but the IRGC bases in those cities. How hot is Ahvaz? Very hot. Like in the summers, you could like put an egg on a frying pan and take it outside, and the summer, the summer heat and the sun could literally fry the egg. So this is what's important about these particular cities and locations. So the cities of Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, and Mahshar are home to three regional headquarters of the IRGC Navy in the Persian Gulf. Two other areas have also been targeted, but these three cities, Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, and Mahshar, have been the brunt of today's strikes, and heavy bombardments have taken place in Bushehr and Bandar Abbas. Let me just do this for you guys so that you can see it better. Okay, let me just do this for you guys. And driving. All right, there we go. Guys, you know what? I am sort of, look at this. Look what I just did, guys. I did something and I'm kind of proud of myself for this. Look what I just did. I mean, it still shows Persian Gulf, Arabian Gulf, but we'll just have to deal with that, unfortunately, until I can figure out how to resolve that. But look at this. So I just did this thing on Google Maps. So now you can see the three major cities. So there's Bandar Mahshar. Okay. So when you're looking at the map, there's Bandar Mahshar, and then this is Bushehr, and this is Bandar Abbas down here. Okay. So the distance between the three, and then this is of course Iran for context. So there's Iran, there's the huge map, and then that's Mahshar, that's Bushehr, and that is Bandar Abbas. And I'm just gonna leave my mouse. How can I hide the weird Arabian Gulf thing? Look. Can I even hide that? All right, there you go. That's how I'm gonna have to do it, I guess. Just have to do it like this until I can figure out how to get rid of it. All right, so there you go. Those are the three cities, okay? The three cities in that are being targeted. The three dots in Iran. So let me just now talk about these. So over the past several hours, the cities of Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, and Mahshar, which are home to three regional headquarters of the IRGC Navy in the Persian Gulf, have come under attack. Two other areas have also been targeted, but these three cities have borne the brunt of today's strikes. Heavy bombardments have taken place in Bushehr and Bandar Abbas. From last night until now, the cities of Bushehr, Bandar Abbas, Chabahar. Guys, Chabahar is down here. Chabahar Let me pull it up. So Chabahar is over here. It's close to the border. There you go. See, it's close to the border of Pakistan. So on the Google Maps thing, like there's, you just kind of, if you could just keep on driving along the coast, you'll get to Chabahar, which is right there. So continues. Chabahar, Jusk, Konarak. So Jusk is one of the islands in the Persian Gulf. Konarak is right beside Chabahar. So Konarak is right there. Konarak and Chabahar are over there in that little dip. So that's where Chabahar and Konarak are. Abu Musa and Saravan have all been attacked. The heavy bombing carried out today in Bandar Abbas and Hajiabad, located approximately 165 kilometers north of Bandar Abbas, was particularly intense. So Hajiabad is just a little bit north, like over there, 165 kilometers north. Let's see if we can find. There you go. So you zoom in, there's Hajiabad. So the boom booms today in Bandar Abbas and Hajiabad, which is over here, have been particularly intense. The reason that Bandar Abbas and its military facilities have been subjected to such sustained attacks is because several important military installations are located around the city. The first naval district of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is based there. Okay, so going back to our map, Bandar Abbas, one of the main Navy headquarters is located in Bandar Abbas. That's why it's under heavy attack right now. The attacks carried out against ships in the Strait of Hormuz, as well as on both sides in the strait, in the Gulf of Oman and the Persian Gulf, are directed by the 1st Naval District of the IRGC, formerly commanded by Abbas Gholam Shahi. Who is Abbas Gholam Shahi? So, Abbas Gholam Shahi is one of the IRGC cutlets. He was eliminated, exterminated by the United States and Israel on March 29. Let's see if we can find him on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet. So, let's see if we can find him. Is he on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet? Bagheri Hajizadeh. He should be here. Let's see. Do we have him? We might not have him actually. Maybe he wasn't even like a high rank. Like we have so many cutlets. He might not actually even be here. Salami, Pakpur, Tangsiri, Soleimani, Abdullahi, Hamedani, Zahidi. I don't see him. Wow, guys. So that Durka that was formerly commanding that base, he wasn't even important enough to be on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet. So I mean, he was still a Durka. He was still a Durka, but yeah, no, I don't see him here. I don't see him here. Abbas Gholam Shahi. This is who he is. So, ew, he looks so weird. Wait, let me pull up his picture for you guys. Where is he? Come on. Okay. Oh my gosh, why is everything like copyrighted? This is so weird. Like I shouldn't have to like, my gosh. Here you go. Okay, this is him. This is the cutlet Abbas Gholam Shahi, who used to command the IRGC Navy base. Okay, so this is the guy. This is Abbas Gholam Shahi, who used to direct the 1st Naval District of the IRGC, which was headquartered in Bandar Abbas. Okay, again, Bandar Abbas is the city over here, the port city. So that's the reason why Bandar Abbas is being heavily targeted, because a lot of the attacks that are happening against cargo ships in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, those missiles are being launched from Bandar Abbas and other places that are nearby. So, yesterday, the IRGC attacked 2 ships, and today it attacked another vessel. The reason for the intensity on the attacks in Bandar Abbas is that the United States is attempting to disable the 1st Naval District of the IRGC, which directs these operations in the Strait of Hormuz. So, this is the IRGC 1st Naval Base, okay? Let me open this image. Oh my gosh, it's so tiny. I can't, well, what is this? Open image in new tab. Here we go, guys. Okay, look at this. Okay, this is perfect. So, regions and bases of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. Okay, so this is the one I'm talking about right now is the 1st region in Bandar Abbas. Okay, so remember, this is Mashhad over here. We were speaking about Mashhad earlier. This is Bushehr. There's Asaliye, Bandar Linge, Bandar Abbas, Josk, and Chabahar. So the 3 bases and the 3 locations that are being heavily targeted today are Mashhad, Bushehr, and Bandar Abbas. Now, it's not to say that these other IRGC locations haven't been under attack. They have certainly been under attack, right? So the United States is making them, is putting them in their place. And so this is the border between Iran and Pakistan over here, and this is the Persian Gulf. This is the Strait of Hormuz. So Mashhad, Bushehr, and Bandar Abbas being heavily hit. So the reason that Bandar Abbas is being targeted severely is because Bandar Abbas is basically the HQ for the Durkas, who are sending the directive to attack the ships who are trying to go through the Strait of Hormuz. And a lot of the attacks are happening from Bandar Abbas because, it's literally right there on the Strait of Hormuz. So anyone who tries to cross, the Muslim Nazis will attack them. So that is why Bandar Abbas in particular and the 1st Naval District of the IRGC is being targeted because the 1st Naval District directs these operations in the Strait of Hormuz. Also, the main headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya, the Navy headquarters number 2, is also located in Bandar Abbas. And for those of you who need a quick reminder, this is Khatam al-Anbiya. It's the guy, by the way, this was the new message from Khatam al-Anbiya yesterday. And I don't know about you, but this looks like it's AI. You know what? This is the thing. No one has ever seen this guy before. Before this conflict started, none of us ever saw this guy. There is not a single image of him anywhere outside of this, okay? No one knows who he is, where he came from, or anything like that. But my team provided some subtitles and translations, so they also have a sense of humor, so you can just follow along with the subtitles. This was the message from Khatam al-Anbiya. By the way, Khatam al-Anbiya is an Arabic word, right? Khatam al-Anbiya is not Iranian. Remember, IRGC stands for Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, okay? So there is nothing Iranian about them. They're literally foreign Arab invaders who have learned Persian, and they're now occupying the Iranian people. Khatam al-Anbiya also is not an Iranian word. Khatam al-Anbiya is an Arabic word, and I think it means something like the seal of the Prophet Muhammad or something, right? Let me look it up. Yeah, Exactly. So Khatam al-Anbiya is an Arabic phrase that translates to seal of the prophets. It is the primary title used in Islam to denote the Prophet Muhammad as the final ultimate messenger sent by God, closing the long lineage of prophets, right? So basically, Muslims believe that their dead Arab warlord Muhammad is not only a prophet, but they believe that he is the final prophet, which means that any religion that comes after Islam, it's considered haram, and they are infidels, and they must be murdered because they are their very existence, like the very fact that they believe in a religion that came about after the invention of Islam, that is an insult to their prophet, and so they have to um, uh, uh, avenge their prophet by murdering the infidels who are literally insulting their prophet by just having another religion. So yeah, so Khatam al-Anbiya is an Arabic thing, but of course, this is what I mean when I say that the Islamic regime is a foreign Arab Muslim invader. This is what I'm talking about, right? It's like all of these organizations literally has nothing to do with Iran. It all has to do with like Arabs and Islam and their dead Arab warlord that died like 1400 years ago, right? And nothing about them is Iranian, literally nothing. And the very fact that this base, or this, they have this whole like group that's named after Muhammad, and calling it the seal of the prophets, that in and of itself is proof that like the Islamic regime has been literally engaging in jihad for 47 years. They're not hiding the fact. Anyways, let's see what their AI Durka had to say yesterday.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. ماجراجویی ها و شرارت های مکرر آمریکا برای دخالت در مدیریت تنگه هرمز.
Okay, this is totally AI, guys. This is totally AI. Guys, there's like a weird, do you see the line? Wait, let me zoom in here. Let me zoom in. Guys, look at this. They totally messed up the editing. Do you see that? Do you see this random line? Do you see the random line? So, guys, this is the Islamic regime actually released this. This is a legitimate thing. And it's done. Like, look, the line's not here. Look, the line's not here. Do you see? Do you see the line isn't here?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. ماجراجویی ها و شرارت های مکرر.
Wait, where was the line? I just had it.
الرحمن الرحیم. ماجراجویی ها و شرارت های مکرر آمریکا برای دخالت در مدیریت تنگه هرمز. امنیت.
Oh, there we go. Right there. So like right there, there's like a weird head movement.
هرمز.
Oh, there you go. Wait. There you go. See? Now, like when his head moves a little bit, you see this line here. Do you see that line? That line wasn't there. That line wasn't. Guys, this is totally fake. Oh my gosh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. ماجراجویی ها و شرارت های مکرر آمریکا برای دخالت در مدیریت تنگه هرمز، امنیت منطقه، تجارت بین المللی و عبور و مرور کشتی های نفتکش و تجاری را به طور جدی به مخاطره انداخته و متاسفانه همکاری برخی کشورهای منطقه نیز موجب شده خطر گسترش جنگ در سراسر منطقه افزایش یابد. بر این اساس اعلام می‌گردد پیرو هشدارهای قبلی به هیچ عنوان به آمریکا اجازه دخالت در مدیریت تنگه هرمز را نمی‌دهیم و نخواهیم داد. نیروهای مسلح جمهوری اسلامی ایران.
Oh, that was some commentary from my team. Look at this. They're like, "Oh my god, not the hand, guys. That's the pointy finger of death, remember? That's the pointy finger of doom. Whenever the angry Muslims, they do this, right? Like that's like the pointy finger of doom. I guess it doesn't really apply to this guy because he's fake, right? Like he's not real. So
مدیریت تنگه هرمز را.
No, he's not an artificial Iranian, guys. This person is not Iranian. He's a Durka. He's like an Arab Muslim. He's literally he's an AI. The Arab Muslims made an AI Arab Muslim Durka.
نمیدهیم و نخواهیم داد. نیروهای مسلح جمهوری اسلامی ایران با هر گونه اختلال و ناامنی برای عبور و مرور کشتی‌های تجاری و نفتکش توسط ارتش متجاوز و راهزن آمریکا خارج از مسیر تعیین شده ایران و بدون مجوز نیروهای مسلح با شدت برخورد می‌نماید و اقدامات قدرتمند سپاه پاسداران انقلاب اسلامی و ارتش جمهوری اسلامی ایران در ایام گذشته شاهدی بر این ادعاست. به سران کشورهای منطقه هشدار داده می شود هر گونه همکاری با آمریکا و پشتیبانی لوجستیکی از ارتش متجاوز آن کشور به منزله جنگ علیه حاکمیت و امنیت ملی ایران تلقی گردیده و در صورت گسترش جنگ در منطقه شعله‌های آتش جنگ دامن تمام کشورهای منطقه را فرا خواهد گرفت. مسئولیت تمام ناامنی‌ها و گسترش جنگ در منطقه متوجه آمریکا و کشورهایی است که با ارتش جنایتکار آن کشور همکاری می‌کنند و من نصر الا من عند الله العزیز الحکیم.
Blah blah, some Durka stuff. There you go. I love the editorial there from my team. Blah blah, some Durka stuff. Yeah, that last part is Arabic. I have no idea. He's like illa billah something, right? Anyways, but literally total AI. Like, how weird is that? That is super weird, guys. That is super weird. But anyway, so the Islamic regime attacked a number of ships yesterday, and of course again today, and then they were threatening that anyone who is supporting the United States will be attacked. So now I also have some footage of a missile launcher in Mashhad. Look at this. Literally just out in the public. Or I guess there's no audio. Oh, it's sideways. Okay, guys. Okay, so the footage is sideways, but that's okay because you can see, so it's the road. You'll just have to like tilt your head. But the Islamic regime is literally just like out in public. They're just they're literally transporting this giant missile on a missile launcher, and then the Iranians are like, and this is in the city of Mashhad. So the person's like, oh my god, look at this, what is this, oh my god, right? He's like, look at this giant, like, he's like, they're transporting giant launchers, missiles in Mashhad. There you go. So, yep, right, literally out in the open. The Islamic regime is literally just running around, driving around with giant missiles. Giant missile floats. It's absolutely wild that like they do this, right? Like the IRGC is literally engaging in like propaganda. They just basically like they're literally wasting resources driving around with these giant floats, right? Meanwhile, the Islamic regime, the United States is literally exterminating all of their top bases, right? So going back to my analysis, so now I gave you the update from Khatam al-Anbiya, right? So the reason that Bandar Abbas is being particularly struck hard is because not just the IRGC First Navy base is there, but one of the main HQs of Khatam al-Anbiya, which apparently they have a weird AI guy representing them, is also in Bandar Abbas. So, like I was saying, the main HQ of Khatam al-Anbiya Naval Headquarters, number 2, is also located in Bandar Abbas. Now, The overall Khatam al-Anbiya central headquarters, which serves as the Islamic Republic's primary wartime command headquarters, is based in Tehran and is currently commanded by Ali Abdullahi. So going to our boom boom bingo sheet, this is Ali Abdullahi. Okay, Ali Abdullahi, remember, he is part of the IRGC. He's one of the top people. However, remember, I was speaking about the game of Durka, kind of like the Game of Thrones, but it's the game of Durka. So I was speaking about the game of Durka earlier. Even though Abdullahi is also in the IRGC and he's a top commander, Abdullahi is actually not on the same side as Vahidi. Vahidi is General Skidmark. So Abdullahi is actually loyal to Ghalibaf. Okay? That's because Ghalibaf used to be the former IRGC commander, the IRGC general. So Abdullahi was always like Ghalibaf's like lackey, like his right-hand man, right? So even though Ghalibaf has retired and moved on, Abdullahi is loyal to Ghalibaf, which means that there are elements within the IRGC that are preventing Vahidi from like just a full military takeover and coup d'etat, right? And there you go. So the reason, so if you're wondering why General Skidmark here, because he's got the skid mark on his forehead, why General Skidmark still hasn't sort of fully taken over, it's because of Abdullahi, right? So the game of Durka, guys, right? Like these are all like Muslim Nazis, like fighting Muslim Nazis, right? But there you go. So Abdullahi, he is in command of that weird AI guy that we just saw. Okay. So going back to our map of southern Iran. Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters number 2, responsible for operations in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, is headquartered in Bandar Abbas, which is another reason the city is being heavily targeted. So again, Bandar Abbas. So 2 major IRGC bases are in, at least 2 are in Bandar Abbas. Now here's the third reason why Bandar Abbas IRGC bases are being heavily targeted. That's because the command HQ of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy itself is located there. And if you guys recall, if we go back to our boom boom bingo sheet, where is he? Where's Tang City? کجای خبر مرگت؟ Where's Tang City? We're gonna find him. کجاست? There you go. I found him. So Tang City was exterminated back in March. Tang City was the basically the IRGC Navy commander. He was number 1. And he was exterminated by the United States and Israel back in March in Bandar Abbas. So they literally exterminated him when he was having a meeting with some of his top IRGC Navy commanders. That HQ is located in Bandar Abbas. So he was, that's where he was exterminated by the United States and Israel. So again, that's another reason why Bandar Abbas is one of the main targets of the United States, right? Because you have the IRGC 1st Navy Base, you have the Navy HQ of Khatam al-Anbiya, and of course you have the overall HQ of the IRGC Navy. So in other words, Bandar Abbas contains the 1st Naval District, the Khatam al-Anbiya Naval Headquarters, and the Central Command of the IRGC Navy. Its previous commander, Tang City, I just mentioned that, has been killed, and he's replaced by someone named Ali Azmai. I don't think Azmai is on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet. Let's see. I don't think, Azmai is not on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet because I don't think he is important enough, right? Let's see. Do we have, let me just take a quick look. No, Asmai is not on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet because he's not important enough. So, but I can show you who he is. I mean, it doesn't even like really matter, right? Because all like these are just the replacements and they're literally running out of options. So, like this is him. This is the guy. Ew, look at his face. Ugh, he literally looks like a Neanderthal. Like what in the Allahu Akbar jihad am I looking at here? So this is the guy that replaced Tang Sidi. Ugh. What like a terrible looking face. I mean that's pretty much the result of inbreeding, right? But anyways, so that's Ali Asmai. Now, there's a fourth reason why Bandar Abbas is being targeted by the United States. The 9th Tactical Air Base is also located there and is actively used for military operations. And finally, the fifth reason is that factories producing IRGC fast attack boats are located in Bandar Abbas. So, you know, all those small boats that have been going around, because remember the IRGC, the Islamic regime, they don't actually have a navy left, right? Like President Trump destroyed it all. The US CENTCOM destroyed it all. All they have left are some speedboats. And remember, in I think it was just a few days ago, or maybe it was late last week, President Trump announced that at least like 60 or 80 of these small speedboats had been targeted and exterminated, destroyed. So Bandar Abbas is where these IRGC owned factories that make these small speedboats that are literally going around and terrorizing big cargo ships in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. That's where they're produced. So presumably those factories, those IRGC owned factories, are probably also being targeted. So there's at least 5 major IRGC facilities in Bandar Abbas alone. Okay? Now, Bushehr, however, experienced even heavier bombardment than Bandar Abbas. So going to our map, Bandar Abbas is here, Bushehr is here. So Bushehr is further up. Bushehr is much closer to Kharg Island. Kharg Island is here. You can't see it, but where the B is, that's where Kharg Island is. So you can kind of see the outline a little bit. But anyway, so this is Bushehr, and that's Kharg Island there. So even though Bandar Abbas has been under heavy bombardment, Bushehr has experienced even heavier and more significant bombings. And that's the footage here that I showed earlier, right? So this is Bushehr. This is so there's that one. And then there's a photo here. An angle. And then this one here. So he says Bushehr. They hit Bushehr around 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock Iran time, which is about 6:30 a.m. Eastern. So why Bushehr? So going back to our map, why is the United States attacking IRGC bases in Bushehr? Well, Bushehr's military facilities were bombed at least twice today because Bushehr is of great military importance. It's home to the IRGC 2nd Naval District, known as the Imam Hassan District. In addition to serving as the headquarters of the 2nd Naval District, Bushehr also hosts the Army's 6th Tactical Air Base. That's why Bushehr continues to be attacked. And this afternoon, in addition to Bushehr and Bandar Abbas, attacks were also carried out against Abadan and areas around Mashhad. So now Mashhad is there. Now Abadan is not on this map, but Abadan is like right there. So if we go to our Google Maps really quickly, very briefly, where's my map? If we go to my, the Google Maps really quickly, so here you go. This is Abadan and this is Mashhad. Okay, so Abadan is actually right by the Iran-Iraq border, and there's a river that essentially divides the two countries. So that's Abadan, and then Mashhad is here. So both Abadan and Mashhad, now as well as Ahvaz, right? So remember, the information I'm giving you is from earlier. We do have breaking news about Ahvaz as well, but I'm just speaking about the boom booms from earlier today, and I'm explaining, what targets the United States is most likely hitting in those areas. So Abadan and Mashhad. Okay, so now going back to our map, Mashhad is there. So Abadan is like probably like right there at like the border. The reason that Mashhad and Bandar Imam are being attacked is that they host the headquarters of the IRGC 3rd Naval District. The Imam Hussein Naval District in Mashhad has repeatedly come under attack because operations directed against Kuwait are organized there. Okay, so this is important. So remember I said Bandar Abbas. So whenever you hear about missiles being launched against, and attacking cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz or the Persian Gulf, that's usually coming from Bandar Abbas. However, the attacks against Kuwait are coming from this area, Mashhad and Abad and other places. And remember, this right here, this is Kuwait. So Kuwait is not really far. And there are American bases on Kuwait, right? So going back to our Google Maps here, okay? Look at this. This is Bandar Mashhad. This is Abadan. And this is Kuwait. This is Kuwait City, okay? So if I did like a Google Maps driving thing, let me do like a Google Maps driving thing. Bandar Mashhad to, let's just assume, just a Kuwait City. Okay? Yeah, it's not very far. So here you go. Now, of course, this is giving like a longer, more extended route because apparently, I guess you have to drive all the way up here and then all the way over there. But if I'm like assuming like you could just kind of go straight here, that's not a very long distance, right? Like you're probably looking at, what is it, like 200 miles, 200, 300 miles maybe. So Bandar Mashhad is not very far from Kuwait City. It's literally right there. Okay, it's right there. And of course, there are American bases in Kuwait. So all of the attacks happening against Kuwait are coming from Bandar Mashhad and the surrounding areas. Okay. And sorry, let me just respond to something. There's a question from someone. Let me just look up something really quickly. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking up some breaking news. I just want to make sure that this is confirmed before I share it, right? All right. Anyways, so Bandar Mashar. Okay, that's not verified yet. That's not verified yet because I'm looking at Shin and I don't see anything. This is the thing, right, guys? There's a lot of breaking news, but like it's difficult to confirm what's real and what isn't because there's a lot of people who are just taking advantage of all of this. So, all right, I have some. So before I get to more about Bandar Mashar and Kuwait, because I'm going to explain why and how this is relevant. So this is footage from the United States hitting the telecommunications regulatory authority building in Bandar Abbas. So the Durkas themselves are confirming.
ما همکنون در شهر بندر عباس هستیم. ساختمونی که پشت سر من هدف قرار گرفته شب گذشته توسط دشمن آمریکایی مورد حمله قرار گرفت. ساختمون مربوط به سازمان تنظیم ارتباطات هستش. علاوه بر این ساختمون چند نقطه دیگه در شهر بندر عباس هم هدف قرار گرفته که در ادامه به اونها هم سری خواهیم. ما همکنون در شهر
So they're basically confirming that a telecoms building was hit in Bandar Abbas. Now here's the thing. Remember, the Islamic regime, they're going to pretend that this is like a civilian target and that the United States is targeting civilian infrastructure. However, this is where the boom boom jihadi Durka bingo sheet comes in really handy. Because remember, one of the squares squares on the boom boom Durka jihadi bingo sheet is the IRIB. It's the state media. And of course, all the regulatory comms and everything that is related to that. Okay. So Iranians actually want the United States and Israel to target the IRIB because the IRIB is a propaganda outlet of the Islamic regime. And if you were watching Iran Revolution Live earlier today, I was explaining how the Islamic regime uses its propaganda to further their jihad, right? To fuel their jihad. So the state TV and the broadcaster within the Islamic regime, because the Islamic regime is a totalitarian, authoritarian dictatorship, right? It's not like a normal functioning Western secular democratic country that has like private companies running their own TV channels, right? Like we're not talking about like I don't know ABC or I don't know NBC or Fox News or something like that, right? Those are all sort of independent. I mean, there's arguments about they're backing one political party or another, but ultimately they're not an official branch of the government, right? Whereas with the Islamic regime, every single TV channel is an official branch of the Islamic regime. There is no private enterprise. Let me put it this way. There's no private enterprise within occupied Iran because that's the nature of a totalitarian dictatorship. So that's why state media, whether it's TV, magazines, radio, whatever, they are part of the boom boom bingo sheet because that's another branch of the system, of the Islamic regime system, right? So this is why the United States is targeting that telecoms branch. And I mean, I'm assuming that area is probably used for, communications purposes, right? I mean, and here's the other thing as well. The Islamic regime, they will put names on things. Kind of like how, like in Orwell's 1984 dystopia, they called things that were like the opposite of what they were. Like, let me give an example. Like, So for example, in Orwell's 1984, for those of you who've read it, the Department of Torture, right? So the place where they took people who were like the dissidents, right? The political dissidents who spoke out against Big Brother and who were stepping out of line, they were taken to the Ministry of Love. And in the Ministry of Love, they were tortured. Okay? So you know how that's kind of the example there. The Islamic regime will put names on certain institutions that are literally the opposite of what they are. So it's a common tactic of authoritarian dictatorships. It's what they all do, right? So here, I mean, sure, the Islamic regime is calling it the Telecoms Regulatory Authority. If anything, that's probably like double speak for a place where the Islamic regime was spying on Iranians. Because remember, I said earlier today on Iran Revolution Live, right? In Western countries, we have privacy, right? Like if police want to come to my house and search my house, they need a search warrant. They can't just barge in. Likewise, if police want to monitor my phone or tap my phone, they need a search warrant. That doesn't exist within the Islamic regime. In the Islamic regime, they are constantly monitoring you 24/7. Like when in occupied Iran, you pretty much have to assume that you are being monitored, watched, listened to, and spied on 24/7. Okay? And part of that comes from these telecoms regulation authorities, right? So I find it really interesting that the Telecommunications Regulatory Authority building has been struck. Because here's the thing. If these buildings that are monitoring the Iranian people, in order to prevent them from rising up, if these buildings are being destroyed, doesn't that mean that it will be easier for Iranians to organize and mobilize? Interesting thought, right? Because why else? Why else would the United States target a telecommunications regulatory authority building? Right? Can anyone give me another reason why the United States might want to target the Telecoms Regulatory Authority building? I think it's because the United States is targeting those institutions that are monitoring the Iranian people and preventing them from rising up. Because remember, the Telecoms Regulatory Authority, they monitor our phones. Well, I mean, not this one, but you know what I mean. And destroying these buildings, destroying these buildings around the country, well, that makes it a little bit more difficult for the Islamic regime to spy on the Iranian people. Just food for thought. I mean, I don't know if that's the I mean, I don't know if that's the reason why this building was targeted. However, if I had to make a guess, I would say that's what I would bet on. I mean, unless I'm wrong. If someone has someone's like, LOL, your iPhone still monitors you, don't be naive. Well, joke's on you. This is not an iPhone. This is a Samsung. So I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about because I have a Samsung. So joke's on you. Okay. All right. But there you go. If anyone has any thoughts or comments on that, let me know. Like, let me know. Do you think, you know what? Why don't I do a poll? Or you know what? Yeah, if anyone has the other ideas, let me know. But that's what I think is going on with the. So this is the telecoms regulatory authority that was hit and targeted in Bandar Abbas yesterday. Now, 180 Islamic regime MPs. So those are these Durkas here. So the MPs are the ones here. They're not important enough to be on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, but they are a footnote. So remember, these are the ones that are like, like death to America, and basically like print out images of the American flag and burn that, right? So apparently 180 regime MPs issued statements demanding revenge, declaring the U.S. agreement ended, calling for special commission on negotiations, and supporting Strait of Hormuz management and governance law. Yeah, okay. Sure, buddy. Smoke spotted in Ferdowsiye Shahryar, Tehran province. No explosions reported as of now. So random smoke, but we don't know why there's smoke. That was 10 hours ago. Oh, and then this is funny. Can't believe a day would come that I would side with Pakistan against Houthi terrorists. So guys, oh my gosh, okay. I have to get Jassim to come back because Jassim is much better at explaining this stuff. But so guys, in the game of Durka in the Middle East, okay, so now the non-Iranian Durkas are going after one another and fighting one another. So here's why. Pakistan, which, a terrorist state, even though Pakistan, is supporting the Islamic regime, they also support Saudi Arabia because remember, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have like an agreement, okay? And Pakistan has to like defend Saudi Arabia in the case of attacks and stuff like that, right? So they have like an agreement there. So literally the Durkas are infighting. The Durkas are infighting. But here's the thing. The Houthis, which are funded and fueled by the Islamic regime, the Houthis have been attacking Saudi Arabia. And so now Saudi Arabia is denouncing and calling out the attack by the Houthis who are occupying southern southern Yemen against Saudi Arabia. And so now the Houthis, right? Like this guy's a Houthi, okay? Yarub Ibn Khatan, right? Like, look at that. Look at this guy. Totally a Houthi. Where's he located? Yep, see? Yemen. Called it, guys. I called it. So now this Houthi, and by the way, I want to say, remember, Houthis are not the Yemenis people. The Yemenis people are occupied by the Houthis the same way that Iranians are occupied by the Islamic regime, the same way that Lebanese people are occupied by Hezbollah. So this guy's a Houthi. This guy's literally a Durka. He's one of those Durkas that are, oh my gosh, they're literally sharing like fake videos now. Anyway, so these are the Durkas that literally support the Islamic regime. Remember, these are the people who like, oh my gosh, look at these. Like this is who they are. This is who they support. Nasty people. Very gross. Remember, they're the ones who get high. They're the ones who get high and like dance around over the flag of Israel in like their weird jihadi songs. And remember, I had Jassim translate that, right? So anyway, so the Houthis and the Pakistanis are now fighting, okay? Because the Houthis are attacking Saudi Arabia at the order and command of the IRGC. And of course, Pakistan, because they have like an agreement with Saudi Arabia, they have to come to the defense of Saudi Arabia. So now the Houthis are attacking the Pakistanis. And Shin is commenting on this. He's like, can't believe a day would come that I side with Pakistan against Houthi terrorists. Yeah. Crazy times. And if anyone needs a reminder of who the Houthis are, here they are. So do you see how his mouth is like super big? That's because they choose something called khat, okay? So khat, what is this? So khat is basically this like plant that I guess you chew and then it's like cocaine or something, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Khat contains the alkaloid cathinone, a stimulant which causes greater sociability, excitement, mild loss of appetite, and mild euphoria. Among communities from the areas where the plant is native, khat chewing has historical relevance. Yeah, okay, sure. Dating back thousands of years. Analogous, but slightly different to the use of coca leaves in South America's Andes Mountains or betel nut preparations in South Asia. However, khat is basically a drug. Like you literally chew it to get high. So it's not really like, I don't know, like the Houthis basically get high and dance around on the flag of Israel, and then they go, and they shoot guns in the air, and then they, send missiles at Saudi Arabia. Like that's basically what the Houthis do when they get high on khat. Okay, so now going back, so this is a Houthi. This is a Houthi terrorist. This is like the most Durka of the Durkas. Okay, so when we're talking about like the Islamic regime, I mean, they have their own scale. The Houthis are on like a whole other scale. So if I was going to compare the Durkaness of a Houthi from a scale of like 0 to 10, 0 being not Durka at all, and 10 being like Khamenei level Durka, the Houthis are like a 20. Okay, the Houthis are like, they're like up there. They're up there. And literally all they do is they get high and their cheeks are always like one side of their mouth of their face is always bulging because this is where the khat is. And what they do is they just basically like, it's like it's not even like, how like I guess with nicotine people chew it and spit it out, I guess, but with them they don't spit it out. They keep it in their mouth all day. It's just literally this giant ball, and then you could see the green. Like he's gonna open his mouth and start singing, and you're gonna see them.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Run baby! Run no! Run baby! Run no! Baby!
Isn't that a Justin Bieber song? I'm pretty sure that's a Justin Bieber song. Right? Like even though their motto is literally like death to the West and death to Jews, and like they're all about Islam and stuff, they literally get high, and this is what they do when they're not shooting bombs at throwing bombs at Saudi Arabia. They get high and sing Justin Bieber songs. You can't make this up, guys. You literally can't make this up. Watch this again. And then you can see like he opens his mouth and you can see all the green, like the green mush inside. That's the khat. That's the drug that they're like, all of them are like, they're literally constantly high, right?
Oh wow! Oh wow! Run baby! Run no! Run baby! Run no! Baby!
He's even got like his knife there and like his like look at this. And then do you see what they're doing? So all the Houthis, so this is actually a good way, like this is good to show. So they zoomed in on him, but you can see, like, look at that guy. Like that guy, here, let me make this bigger so you can see better. There you go. So you see like this guy, look how deformed his mouth is. Like this it's huge, right? It's huge. But look, like that's what they do. So when they're not attacking, right? When they're not sending missiles around the Middle East, they literally sit in these big rooms. Okay, so they're just like in these big rooms. And look, there's a freaking kid. There's a kid. Like that kid can't be older than like 10 years old. that kid is in a room and they're all getting high. Even the kid is getting high, right? So when they're not bombing other countries in the Middle East and, causing terrorism and piracy in the Bab el-Mandab area, they sit around, all the men, they sit around in these giant rooms, just rows and rows of men in rooms, just chewing on khat and getting high. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You see, it's like they're all just like literally just rows and rows of them. Okay, rows and rows of them. And of course, I would be remiss not to show the traditional Houthi dance, right? Because not only do they get high and sing Justin Bieber songs. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to show this really quick and then I'm going to go to some breaking news. Because not only do these Durkas get high and sing Justin Bieber song, they also get high and they dance on the flag of Israel. Yep. So, and if you pay attention, you can see all these people who are watching, all the men anyway, because, no women allowed. But they get high and then they basically, they're barefoot, and, they're waving their guns in the air and they're, dancing over the flag of Israel in choreographed dances. So.
احنا لها وما وكان لها وانت لها من بعد يخوض انت لها وعلنا من بعد يكون احوالها لا تقل ما لها بال خرجت كانها كان الذي صار ما يخطر على بالها لا تقل ما لها بال خرجت كانها كان الذي صار ما يخطر على بالها.
And remember, if you watched Iran Revolution Live last week when I had my good friend Jassim on, I asked Jassim to translate the song because it's in Arabic, and he said it's literally one of the stupidest things and it makes no sense. The song is basically like, we did it, we got it, we're going to get them, we're going to destroy them, like something like that. It's just like very like stupid, basically low IQ. So even like the song that the Houthis are dancing to is literally mocked by the normal Arabs, right? And Jassim, remember, he's a non-Muslim Arab from Kuwait, and he is like the original Durka whisperer. So yeah, anyway, so there you go. So that's a little bit about the Houthis. So going back to this post from Shin, right? So the Houthis are now attacking Pakistan because Pakistan is condemning the Houthi attack. By the way, the Houthis are controlled by the Islamic regime. So there you go. However, let me go to this quick post from President Trump because I do want to get back to some of the more breaking news, but I just want to share some of this sort of, background info. So this is an exclusive from President Trump that just came out. Look at this.
Was there a specific piece of intelligence that made you decide to launch this operation?
Well, it was specific in the sense that it just never stops, and they're going to go forward, and they...
Wait, when is this? Is this happening right now? Wait, what time is this happening? Is this happening right now? Because I want to watch it if it's happening right now. Or did we? Oh, it happened earlier? Shoot. So we missed it. Oh, man. Well, that's a shame. I wonder if it's available on Fox News because I'd love to watch the full thing if we can. Ah, yes. Okay, guys. Wow. Okay, so we have it. We have it. All right. So you know what? Let's go to the full interview. Here we go. And then I'll continue with the breaking news because this is going to provide some excellent background info before I continue with explaining the various bases and the various locations that are being attacked. All right, guys, let's go.
Says U.S. strikes will continue in Iran, with each day getting worse than the last. He says he's saving energy targets for last and did reiterate that Iran has no choice but to make a deal. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is at the White House, where he spoke exclusively with President Trump earlier today about his plans for the Middle East. Good evening, Trey.
Yeah, Brett, good evening. President Trump told Fox News that strikes against Iran will continue tonight and expand next week if the Iranians are unwilling to make a deal. Here's more of our exclusive interview from the White House. Mr. President, thank you for speaking with Fox News.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have seen extensive U.S. strikes against Iran for 3 consecutive nights now. This comes after the Iranians attacked vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. How would you describe what is happening at this moment? Has the war resumed?
Well, I guess you could define it any way you want, but certainly we're beating them up really badly. They have to be beat up. We're hitting them very, very hard. We're hitting.
So remember, President Trump is not going to outright, and I said this earlier when I started my live stream, President Trump is not going to come outright and call it a war, because that has certain legal implications. He's going to have to take it to Congress and get congressional approval. So that's why President Trump is like, you can call it whatever you want, but we're just responding to aggression from the Islamic regime, right? So he's basically, he's being smart about it and not allowing or giving the Democrats the opportunity to come after him and try to stop him from continuing the strikes against the Islamic regime.
War resumed.
Well, I guess you could define it any way you want, but certainly we're beating them up really badly. They have to be beat up. We're hitting them very, very hard. We're hitting every single thing that they have along the shore, along the waterfront. You know, if you
Ooh, guys, so remember, going back to our map. So that's what I've been, oh my gosh, that's so fantastic. So this is exactly what I've been speaking about, right? So I was speaking about the different bases. And guys, I haven't even finished going over all the different areas and locations that are being targeted. So, okay, there you go. So, guys, I feel like, President Trump and I, we're vibing right now because I've been like going over in detail all the various possible targets that are being hit. And now President Trump pretty much confirmed that they're pretty much hitting every single major target along the coast. So when we're done with this interview, we're going to go back to me sharing all those different targets and locations.
really badly, they have to be beat up. We're hitting them very, very hard. We're hitting every single thing that they have along the shore, along the waterfront. You know, if you look at the Strait of Hormuz, it's now, we're finding it hard to find where they have anything. We have to stop it. We have to keep it open. I was going to charge a fee, but instead they'd rather spend a lot of money in the United States, which frankly is better because I don't like the idea of a fee. It's got to remain free because otherwise others will do the same thing. But I think we've made tremendous progress.
So your objectives are to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon, to keep the strait open, and to degrade the Iranian military. Can those objectives be completed in an air campaign alone, or does this require a ground component?
Well, I think they're completed now, honestly. If we left right now, it would take them 20 years to rebuild what they have. The only way you can negotiate with these people is through strength, and the only strength is military strength. And that's what we've done. And I mean, literally 2 days ago, we had a deal, and then they broke it at the last moment. They broke it.
Will these strikes continue?
Yeah, it's called Takia. It's called Takia because in their faith and in their religion, it is their duty, it is their Allah-given duty to lie to the non-Muslims, to the infidels, right? That's you, that's me. We're the kafars. So if their jihad is under threat, in order to preserve their jihad and save the movement and have it last and extend another day, they're allowed to lie, and they always lie.
Can you?
They'll continue until I say it's enough. I mean, they'll continue. They've been, the word the military likes to use is degrade. They've been degraded to a very low level. And they have fight. You know, it's like a great boxer. You think you have him beat, and then all of a sudden he comes back and he gives you a shot. They have some fight left, but they don't have much. And their weapon degrading has been incredible at a level. Nobody thought it was possible to do it this quickly.
You posted today on True Social comments that you made back in 1988 about Karg Island. And at the time you said, one bullet shot at one of our men or ships, and I'd do a number on Karg Island, I'd go in and take it.
Yeah.
Do you still intend to take Karg Island?
So I can't say that to you because if I did, it would be foolish, right? But it'd be nice to make a little headlines, but it would be foolish. But I'll tell you about Karg Island. So we've already...
Are you ruling out a ground campaign in a limited capacity?
I don't want to say that either, but I would say no.
I mean, again, I don't know why Trey is asking these questions. President Trump's not going to come out and give away like military strategy and operations, right? Like he's not going to say yes or no either way.
If I thought it was appropriate, I'd say sometimes you need a ground campaign, but we have other people that will do the ground campaign for us.
Whoa. Guys. Did you catch that?
We've already...
Are you ruling out a ground campaign in a limited capacity?
I don't want to say that either, but I would say no if I thought it was appropriate. I'd say sometimes you need a ground campaign, but we have other people that will do the ground campaign for us.
Interesting. Interesting. So, okay, one of our Iranian viewers has a message for President Trump and Americans. They say, Mr. Trump, zarbe akhar ra muhkamtar bezan. So basically he's saying, Mr. Trump, please make the final hits against the regime even harder. And then with the peace sign, America flag, and of course, clapping. So, wow. Going back to this. So, President Trump just confirmed that the United States might not necessarily have to do the ground campaign because he just confirmed that there are other people who are prepared and willing to do the ground campaign.
I don't want to say that either, but I would say no if I thought it was appropriate. I'd say sometimes you need a ground campaign, but we have other people that will do the ground campaign for us.
Wow. All right, let's continue.
But we already hit Karg Island, as you know, twice, even 3 times. I said, hit everything but the oil. Just leave that little area from 25 yards out. Leave that little area. Don't touch the oil. Because I don't want that in terms of the world economy. It's a chunk of the world economy. So we haven't hit that. At some point we could, but I think it's unlikely. As far as taking it is concerned, if we degrade them far enough and deep enough back, I would do that.
Do you anticipate that the strikes we're seeing this week against Iran will expand? Are you considering hitting energy targets or other locations inside of Iran?
I'll save the energy targets for last. But ultimately, we'll hit energy targets, yeah. But
I just have to say, if you hit the mullahs, if you literally just like hit the mullahs and the Basij bases, which are located in the IRGC mosques, you're never going to have to go for the energy. Just hit the mullahs, hit the mullah factories. Hit all the places where the IRGC and the Basij are. Yeah, that's what you need to do.
We're going to hit them very hard tonight.
Woo!
We're going to hit them.
So President Trump is confirming. So right now, tonight, hitting them very hard. And again, I have more breaking news and footage, right?
I'll save the energy targets for last, but ultimately we'll hit energy targets, yeah. But we're going to hit them very hard tonight. We're going to hit them very hard tomorrow night. We're going to hit them very hard the night after. And then next week it gets really bad for them because next week comes the power plants. Next week comes the bridges. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and negotiate.
Do you believe the Iranians are serious about making a deal?
I think they have no choice.
Why haven't they yet?
I think if I didn't do the way I'm doing, they would never make a deal. They would have never made a deal with Obama. That deal was the worst deal. What they did sign was a worthless piece of paper. What they signed with Obama was a worthless piece of paper that was a road to a nuclear weapon. And what I have is a wall. There will be no nuclear weapon. I'll never sign. And when you listed the three things, by far the most important is they will not have a nuclear weapon.
Take me back to the moment before February 28th, when you made the decision to launch Operation Epic Fury. Was there a specific piece of intelligence that made you decide to launch this operation?
Well, it was specific in the sense that it just never stops, and they're going to go forward, and they wanted a nuclear weapon. We knew they wanted a nuclear weapon. If they have a nuclear weapon, Israel wouldn't be here. Look,
they said they didn't want a nuclear weapon.
Well, they say that. Everything they say is a lie. They lie. I've never seen anything like it. They also come out and they'll tell you we never discussed nuclear, and we're in a room for 5 hours. That's all we discussed. And they'll walk out and say, nuclear was not discussed. Everything was discussed ad nauseum. They were going to have a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks. Had we not done the B-2 bombers, had we not bombed their nuclear sites, their 3 nuclear sites, and there's another one we're looking at right now, as you know.
Pickaxe Mountain.
We're looking at Pickaxe because somebody said there's a little activity. You know, we have cameras.
This is the second time President Trump has spoken about Pickaxe Mountain, and I went into a little bit of a deep dive on Pickaxe Mountain, spoke about it on yesterday evening's edition of the Goldie Show.
Space Force, we have cameras that they can read the badge, they can read your name, probably Mohammed. They can read your name on a badge from space. And every...
I love that. That's almost as good as his Mohammed something comment from a few days ago, right? We can read the name badges. It's probably, probably says Mohammed or something. Oh my gosh.
As somebody said, there's a little activity. You know, we have cameras, Space Force, we have cameras that they can read the badge, they can read your name, probably Mohammed. They can read your name on a badge from space. And every area of Pickaxe, but the other 3 are covered.
But specifically on
if they make any move, we immediately go and do whatever we have to do. But they haven't. They were so decimated.
Some weapons experts say that the United States doesn't have the ability to strike deep enough with these bunker buster bombs at Pickaxe Mountain.
They can go deep. We have good stuff. Nobody knows about Pickaxe. By the way, nobody knows if they even are doing anything in Pickaxe. It's just something that comes up. We have cameras on it. There's very little activity there. But if there's even just a small amount, we'll hit it, and we'll hit it hard.
I want to ask you about the Telegon facility. It's outside of Tehran, and it was hit in U.S. strikes previously. These are satellite images from June and July. Okay. And on June 22nd, you can see activity at this site. Yeah. And then on July 7th, there is movement. There are trucks and cranes, and in that image, freshly poured concrete.
Right.
What do these images say to you?
What I'm hearing is that they put, and what they've watched it, that they poured concrete to close up the entrances so we couldn't get into it. So that's what they're saying. But we can hit that one very easily. You know, it only takes a matter of minutes for us to do it.
Guys, so for those of you who aren't familiar and don't know about Telegon, so what Telegon is it's a facility, it's a underground site located within the Parchin military complex in the southeast of Tehran. It's widely identified by international intelligence and nuclear watchdogs as a covert site previously used for high explosive testing linked to nuclear weapons development. So the facility has been a primary target in recent regional conflicts and has been the site of extensive bombing, destruction, and subsequent repair efforts. So this place here, Telegon, this is an underground facility where the Islamic regime goes to test their the nuclear weapons that they're trying to build and make. Okay. So that's what Telegon is. Now you guys know.
Trucks and cranes and that image, freshly poured concrete.
Right.
What do these images say to you?
What I'm hearing is that they put, and what they've watched it, that they poured concrete to close up the entrances so we couldn't get into it. So that's what they're saying. But we can hit that one very easily. You know, it only takes a matter of minutes for us to do it and do major damage, major damage. And when they know it's coming, they disappear. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing here.
And sir, on Monday, you announced that the United States is reimposing the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports.
Started now.
Shipping data trackers indicate that just 10 vessels passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday, less than 10% of what normally goes through this critical waterway. When you say the strait is open, what do you mean?
It's open if people want to go through it. We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out, but it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
You've called the new leadership in Iran a changed regime. Do you still believe that?
Well, I knew the first group for a little while, and they were evil, and they're no longer with us. I knew the second group also a little bit better, and they were evil, and they're no longer with us. And the third group, they have some bad ones in there, some very bad ones in there.
Just some?
And I think they're the ones that are stopping a deal.
So are you negotiating with?
So this is really important because, again, remember, I was always saying, whatever President Trump is speaking about the Durkas, right? So if we go back to our Boom Boom Durka Jihadi bingo sheet, you know, when he's speaking about the first group of Muslim Nazi terrorists that he exterminated, and then, you know, the second group that was, and the second group was basically like, so the first group essentially, let me zoom in here. So the first group was essentially like Khamenei, right? Khamenei and his top commanders, okay? Khamenei Khabar Margesh. The second layer, the second group was Larijani, Shamkhani. Remember, Shamkhani was buried without a head, which I find really hilarious. Like, they couldn't find his head when they boom boomed him. So Larijani and Shamkhani were kind of part of the, and this guy as well, Khatib. Like, they were sort of part of, and Rezayan, I think too, I can't remember. But so this guy, this one that went, you know, was exterminated, and then Larijani and Shamkhani, okay? These were all, so this is the second layer. This is a second layer of Durkas that were exterminated by the United States. Now, the third layer, that's Ghalibaf and Araqchi and, of course, General Skidmark, right? So when President Trump says, you know, yeah, some of them want to make a deal, but then there's some bad ones in there who are preventing the deal, that's pretty much Vahidi, aka General Skidmark. And of course, Jalili, he's got an even bigger skid mark than Vahidi. Look at that. Oh my gosh, right? Like, just wild, crazy people. So, but the important thing here is to remember that President Trump never actually says that, oh yeah, these people are great and reasonable. What he says is that, this group was, a little bit better than the other ones. So remember, this is what I was always saying. When President Trump was referring to these people, he was referring to them within the context of the Durka scale. So, the top level was maybe like a 10 out of 10 on the Durka scale. The second layer was like a 9.9 out of 10. And the third layer is like a 9.8. Okay, so sure, the third layer might be a little bit more reasonable than the other two layers, but not by much, because ultimately they're all insane, they're all radicals, they're all Muslim Nazi terrorists, and President Trump said a few days ago that they're all crazy and they're all evil. And, this is why he only says, like, when he's talking about how they're a little bit better, it's within the context of the previous ones, not like within the context of a normal, rational, logical, sane human being. I agree. You shouldn't negotiate. You know what, President Trump, 90 million Iranians agree with you. We don't want you to negotiate. Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot to share my tab. Oh my gosh, I was watching on my own. So, President Trump just says, we don't want to negotiate. So I agree. 90 million Iranians don't want you to negotiate with the Islamic regime. We just want you to exterminate them.
And they were evil, and they're no longer with us. I knew the second group also a little bit better, and they were evil, and they're no longer with us. And the third group, they have some bad ones in there, some very bad ones in there.
Just some?
And I think they're the ones that are stopping a deal.
So are you negotiating with the wrong people?
Well, now I don't want to negotiate now. I said, let's not negotiate. 3 days ago, we had a deal.
When was the last time you spoke with an Iranian official?
Well, not me, but let's say my representatives. I have spoken to them, but my representatives over the course of, actually, an hour ago.
And what message was delivered?
They want to make a deal, but every time they make a deal, they break it. They don't want to die. People don't want to die. Yeah, about an hour ago.
And what message was delivered?
You better make a deal. You're not going to have anybody left.
Good.
We're being very careful with this.
That's what we want. We don't want any of them left. Please, President Trump, don't threaten us with a good time. Don't threaten us with a good time. We're ready for this. We want this. We do not want any of them left, President Trump. That's the only way to deal. Take it from those of us who have been dealing with these Muslim Nazis for the last 47 years. They're a cancer. The only way to deal with them is to get rid of them.
Civilian population, as you know,
Right.
but you better make a deal. You're not going to have anybody left. We're being very careful with the civilian population, as you know, but
Yeah.
I said, you better make a deal. You're not going to have anything left.
And you think they will?
They should. I don't know if they will or not.
Sir, thank you for speaking with Fox News.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really do appreciate President Trump saying that he's being very careful with the civilian population. And, we are really appreciative of that. And I can say confidently that, Iranians, we all know and we understand that everything that's happening right now is because of the Islamic regime. It's the Islamic regime that has dragged the Iranian people into this war. And, America is being very, very careful with the civilian population. However, of course, there will be collateral damage. But what I can say is that every single life that's been lost in this entire conflict, Iranians put the blame solely on the Islamic regime. It's the same Islamic regime that murdered over 54,000 Iranians on 2 days alone on January 8 and 9. And I, spoke more about that earlier today on Iran Revolution Live. So there you go. That's pretty much President Trump's, breaking interview, kind of the key points about Iran and the conflict. So let me now go back to just some of the latest breaking news from Shin, and then we will continue with the analysis that I was giving you about the southern parts of Iran. So, President Trump posted this earlier today. Oil is flowing like never before thanks to the awesome power of the United States military. A special salute to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane, and Commander of the U.S. Central Command Admiral Brad Cooper. Because of them, and all members of the most powerful military anywhere in the world by far, the Strait of Hormuz is open to all ship traffic except for Iran. And that is because of their lying, violent, malicious leadership, which is taking them down the path of total destruction. We will therefore have a full blockade, but only on ships coming to and from Iranian ports or carrying anything having to do with Iranian cargo. Based on the highly productive conversations with Middle East leadership, I have decided to replace the 20% U.S. reimbursement fee with trade and investment deals that the various Gulf states will be making into the United States. Those investments will be massive, but at the same time, extraordinarily good for them and their future. As everyone is aware, we have the largest dollar investment into the United States of any country in history. But these new investments will make that number even larger, and we will see factories, plants, and equipment pour into the United States at historic levels, which will create additional millions of high-paying American jobs. America is winning again, winning like never before. The days of Iran killing hundreds of thousands of people, including 52,000 protesters, are over. And more importantly, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So there you go. President Trump himself is admitting that in 2 days alone, the Islamic regime murdered at least 52,000 people, if not more. The number is actually probably higher than that, because we don't have the full records, because the Islamic regime is trying to destroy records to basically deny that they engaged in genocide. So there's that message. Now the next one. So this is from 10 hours ago. So this was the smoke spotted in Ferdowsiya, Tehran, but we don't know what that is. Okay, so this is what I want to get to. So Kuwait armed forces currently engaging hostile aerial targets. Air defense interceptions active, explosions reported. So about 10 hours ago, Kuwait announced that they were being targeted and attacked by the Islamic regime. So going back to this map now, okay, so remember where we left off? I was talking about the distance between Bandar Mashhad and Kuwait City. This is just the drive, I guess, the road, but as you can tell, it's very close. I mean, the two places are what, like, I don't know, 200, 250 miles distance, if even that. So it's not very far away, right? Like Kuwait, this is Kuwait. Kuwait is right beside Iran. Okay, there's Kuwait, there's Iran. So, and whenever you hear about missiles being launched at Kuwait, okay, so going back to Shin, whenever you hear about missiles being launched at Kuwait, it's coming from that area. It's coming from the Bandar Mashhad area. Okay, so this is the original map that we were looking at. Okay, so remember, this is Bandar Mashhad and this is Kuwait over here. So this is why, aside from Bandar Abbas and Bushehr, Mashhad has also been the target of very heavy strikes by the United States, because this is the main area, this is the main launching area for the missiles that are not only attacking the US base in Kuwait, or attempting to, but are also going after just random civilian targets in Kuwait, because it's very, very close, right? Very close. So that is Kuwait, okay? So all of the attacks that the IRGC has recently carried out against Kuwait have been launched from the Mashhad, Abadan, and Khorramshahr area. So Mashhad, remember, Mashhad is here. Abadan is right at the border, close to Iraq, and then Khorramshahr is in this area as well. So that's all in the province of Khuzestan. That's the province that I was born in. Okay, so the bombardments have been targeting Mashhad, Khorramshahr, Abadan, and Omidiyeh, which was struck again today. They're intended as retaliation against the IRGC military infrastructure responsible for attacks on Kuwait and on U.S. bases in Kuwait. So again, going back to this post from 10 hours ago, when Kuwait is pretty much announcing that they're being attacked by the IRGC. So the United States has now responded in turn by attacking this area, the Mashhad area and the IRGC bases that are located there, because that's where the main attacks against Kuwait are coming from. And as you guys know, the US has 3 major military bases in Kuwait, all of which have reportedly come under IRGC attack in recent days. You know, those 3 bases are called Arif Jan, Ali Al Salim Air Base, and Jaber Air Base. And the IRGC has repeatedly targeted all 3. Now, those same military centers in Mashhad, Abadan, and Khorramshahr are themselves being bombed by the United States in response. In addition to Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, and Mashhad, which were bombed today, military installations on Kish Island have also been attacked during the past several hours. Fast attack boats used in operations against shipping are launched from there, making it another target. So, you know, all those like tiny speedboats that go after the cargo ships and attack them, that's coming from Kish. So, so basically all 5 IRGC naval districts in the Persian Gulf are now simultaneously under attack. So the first naval district is in Bandar Abbas. Okay, so going to our map here, okay, you can literally see the names. So this is the first one. So this, you know, Bandar Abbas, that's the first naval base, okay? And then the second one is in Bushehr. The third Navy base is in Mashhad. The fourth one is in Asaluye. And the fifth one is in Bandar Lenge. And then there's some on the islands as well. There's one in Jusk. Jusk and Chabahar have also been attacked. And then, you know, there's a few bases on the islands as well. So pretty much, it's probably safe to assume that as of yesterday and ongoing today, because we're about to get to the latest breaking news, but as of yesterday, all of the IRGC's major Navy headquarters, which are all located in different cities along the southern border of occupied Iran, are all simultaneously under attack, right? So it's not like they're going after one location or another. No. The US military is bombarding all of these IRGC Navy bases literally at the same time. So now going back to Shin, we can continue with, you know, the latest breaking news that he has. So like we said, Kish. So US projectiles explored near Kish power plant, technical parameters damaged. Kish water and power engineering, temporary blackouts unavoidable, repair assessments ongoing. And then in response, the Islamic regime sent more missiles to Kuwait. So aside, you know, not only this first one, but the second one. So more sirens were heard in Kuwait, and a second warning was given out. Now, in the meantime, while all of this is going on, President Trump was meeting with the Iraqi Prime.
We love Iraq, and they're well represented. This man just won a big election. They are very well represented. I can tell you that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the challenge with Iraq is that they have a lot of politicians there, that are paid for and bought off by the Islamic regime. Remember the golden underwear? So Texas is asking Kuwait or military bases? Both. So the IRGC is supposedly attacking military bases, and they are, but they also have a lot of missiles that are just, you know, going to random civilian areas as well. So it's both. The targets are supposedly the American military bases. But as we have seen in the last several months, a lot of these ballistic missiles have struck civilian infrastructure as well. So just a quick reminder about the Iraqi politicians who are infiltrated, because Iraq is infiltrated by the Islamic regime. Remember, here's an example of yeah. Remember, during an Iraqi anti-corruption raid, they invaded the homes of numerous Iraqi politicians who had been paid off by the Islamic regime. And one of these politicians had a solid gold set of lingerie, I guess, pure gold lingerie, right? So this is a kind of corruption, probably funded with the American taxpayer dollars that Obama sent to occupied Iran, right? So Iraq is a little bit complicated, but there are some good people there, but of course they're fighting the influence of the IRGC and the Islamic regime, because there are a lot of Iraqi MPPs and politicians, or MPs and politicians who support the Islamic regime. So got to take that with a grain of salt. And then there was more explosions in Khuzestan. And then there was an explosion heard from Messin and Qishm power plant. And then a third. So 9 hours ago, Kuwaiti armed forces were intercepting hostile attacks on the country. Again, so those attacks are coming from Mashhad, right? So whenever you hear about attacks happening against Kuwait or American bases in Kuwait or anywhere else, that's this area coming from Mashhad. The attacks that are happening in the Strait of Hormuz come from here, mainly from Bandar Abbas, but there's also like these bases down here. So all these bases serve a different purpose. But yeah, so whenever you hear Kuwait, it's Mashhad. When you hear Bahrain, so this tiny island here, this is Bahrain. Bahrain could be like anywhere here, but Kuwait is pretty much usually from Mashhad. Okay. Now, sirens activated in Bahrain. So guys, I literally just spoke about Bahrain. So yeah, the IRGC is also attacking, was attacking Bahrain earlier today. And here is, I don't know what this is. Shin doesn't know what this is either. Where is this from? This is from Shiraz, city of Shiraz. Shiraz is kind of like, so Shiraz is the heart of Iran, and Shiraz is where the ancient city of Persepolis is located. So if we zoom out here, how do I zoom out here? So here we go. If I go here, right, this is Iran, and Shiraz is right there. So Shiraz, that's where you can find the tomb of Cyrus the Great, and of course the ancient city of Persepolis is very close to Shiraz. Persepolis is somewhere around here, but there you go. That's where Shiraz is. So let's see what this footage is of whatever this thing is in Shiraz. There you go. I have no idea. It looks like a drone or something. I don't know. But some sort of drone or something. And then Okay, some more attacks. Oh, guys, so the missile, the IRGC missile that was launched at Bahrain was carrying a cluster munitions warhead. For those of you who don't know, a cluster munitions warhead is literally a war crime, okay? And the reason that it is a war crime is because you can't actually control where cluster munitions go, okay? So cluster munitions are basically used for the purposes of targeting the maximum number of civilians. And remember, whenever the IRGC sends cluster bombs, whenever they send missiles to Israel, they literally use cluster bombs. Let me see if I can find a good short YouTube video just explaining what this is, because like the media never pays attention to this, and that's really frustrating. Like, the Islamic regime is literally engaging in war crimes every day, and yet no one says anything. No one says anything. Okay, let's see if I can find a good video here. All right. Okay, you know what? Let me share this. So this is like a short video, YouTube short or something.
Cluster bomb is dropped. It carries a shell packed with many smaller bombs called bomblets. As the bomb falls, the shell splits open in the air, spreading these bomblets across a wide area below. Each bomblet has its own fuse and explosive charge inside. When they land, most of the bomblets explode, creating multiple blasts over a large radius. When a cluster...
There you go. So, cluster bombs are literally the opposite of a targeted direct strike, right? The Islamic regime sends cluster bombs. So this is why I think, Texas, you were asking earlier, is the IRGC targeting Kuwait or the US bases in Kuwait? It doesn't matter, because what they send is targeting both the US bases and the Kuwaiti people. So they're targeting everything. It's indiscriminate bombing because they use this type of weapon, right? Like if they were using like just like a, you know, like a Tomahawk missile or something, well, you know, Tomahawk missiles are like a direct attack. They have a specific target, right? But with the cluster bombs, the IRGC just launches them. They launch them in the general direction of wherever the US base is. And then the cluster bomb just attacks indiscriminately in a wide radius. So they're targeting everyone. And it's literally a war crime, right? A war crime. And a lot of innocent people have been murdered. I understand. Yeah, no, I understand that. That's not my point. My point is, that the weapons that they use are launched at the general direction of the US bases. But as I just explained and showed in this video, the target is not necessarily the US base. The target is pretty much the civilians, right? The Islamic regime knows that the US bases are heavily protected. So their strategy is to launch these cluster bombs in the general direction of the US bases, right? That's their excuse. So the excuse is, oh, we're not targeting civilians, we're targeting the US bases. However, they specifically use cluster bombs because these cluster bombs are not accurate, and these cluster bombs will attack and you know, sometimes, God forbid, murder innocent civilians, right? So
in 1982, a woman named
That's not what it was.
When a cluster bomb is dropped, it carries a shell packed with many smaller bombs called bomblets. As the bomb falls, the shell splits open in the air, spreading these bomblets across a wide area below. Each bomblet has its own fuse and explosive charge inside. When they land, most of the bomblets explode, creating multiple blasts over a large radius. When a cluster...
There you go. So that's the excuse that they use to terrorize civilians, claiming that they're targeting the U.S. bases, right? So again, they're launched in the general direction of the U.S. bases, but the cluster bombs, like the weapons they use, it targets everyone. It targets everyone. Like if these were specific attacks against the U.S. bases, they could have easily just used, just not cluster munitions. They could have used something else. But this is how they are. They're essentially putting pressure on Kuwait by terrorizing the Kuwaiti people. So, and then they use the excuse of U.S. bases are targeted there. They use that as a justification for why they're launching missiles there. But in Persian, as you can tell, they've already said, like in that Khatam al-Anbiya speech, remember, the weird AI Durka Jihadi, okay, he already admitted that the Islamic regime is going to attack any country that supports the United States. So for the Islamic regime, they view it as fair game to target the country. So again, this is the threat that the weird AI generated Khatam al-Anbiya spokesperson issued yesterday, where he's basically saying to the Persian Gulf and Middle Eastern countries, anyone who supports the United States will be attacked by us, right? So they're not saying in Persian, right? Because in English, what they say in English, they'll always say, "Oh no, we're targeting the military bases. We're not attacking the countries. We're all at peace with the countries. Everything is fine," right? That's what they say in English to fool non-Iranians. In Persian, however, they are literally threatening the countries, and they're saying anyone who supports the Islamic regime is going to be attacked. Anyone who supports the United States will be attacked by the Islamic regime. So just read along with the subtitles.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ماجراجویی‌ها و شرارت‌های مکرر آمریکا برای دخالت در مدیریت تنگه هرمز، امنیت منطقه، تجارت بین‌المللی و عبور و مرور کشتی‌های نفتکش و تجاری را به طور جدی به مخاطره انداخته و متاسفانه همکاری برخی کشورهای منطقه نیز موجب شده خطر گسترش جنگ در سراسر.
Right, so he says that unfortunately some traitor countries in the region are cooperating with them, so the fire of big war will spread more and more. So basically he's saying any country that supports the United States will be attacked itself, right? Not just the US bases, the countries themselves. And this isn't to diminish the attacks happening against the US bases. This is just, I'm trying to explain why the Islamic regime is using cluster bombs and launching them in the general direction of U.S. bases in various countries. Because in Persian, they're literally threatening those countries and saying that we are going to attack you.
سر منطقه افزایش یابد. بر این اساس اعلام می‌گردد پیرو هشدارهای قبلی به هیچ عنوان به آمریکا اجازه دخالت در مدیریت تنگه هرمز را نمی‌دهیم و نخواهیم داد. نیروهای مسلح جمهوری اسلامی ایران با هر گونه اختلال و ناامنی برای عبور و مرور کشتی‌های تجاری و نفتکش توسط ارتش متجاوز و راهزن آمریکا خارج از مسیر تعیین شده ایران و بدون مجوز نیروهای مسلح با شدت برخورد می‌نماید و اقدامات قدرتمند سپاه پاسداران انقلاب اسلامی و ارتش جمهوری اسلامی ایران در ایام گذشته شاهدی بر این ادعاست. به سران کشورهای منطقه هشدار داده می شود هر گونه همکاری با آمریکا و پشتیبانی لوجستیکی از ارتش متجاوز آن کشور به منزله جنگ علیه حاکمیت و امنیت ملی ایران تلقی گردیده و در صورت گسترش جنگ در منطقه شعله‌های آتش جنگ دامن تمام کشورهای منطقه را فرا خواهد گرفت. مسئولیت تمام ناامنی‌ها و گسترش جنگ در منطقه متوجه آمریکا و کشورهایی است که با ارتش جنایتکار آن کشور همکاری می‌کنند و من نصر الا من عند الله العزیز الحکیم.
So this guy apparently, I think it was like, was it Omid or Gandalf? Someone mentioned it. So this guy, I mean, obviously this is AI, but he was a real person at one point. And there's this rumor, I can't remember, someone mentioned, so there's this rumor that apparently he was boomed in day 39 of the war, and the Islamic regime has just been sort of using this AI replication of him because they don't want to admit that a lot of them have been boomed, right? Let me see if I can find him. Let's see if we can find an earlier, yeah, like not one blink, right? Let me see if I can find an earlier video of him. Let's see. All right, let me just see if I can find like an older video of him, because right now this new AI version is trending, right? But yeah, it was Gandalf. Okay, so Gandalf, one of our amazing mods and viewers, and also Iranian freedom fighter who's in occupied Iran, said in the 39-day war he was boomed, and to not lose face, the regime had to use AI. So there you go. Apparently, he's been gone for a while. Because, oh my gosh, he looks so different. Whoa, guys, look, compare this. Okay, so look at his face here, and then look at him here. So this is footage from April, like early April, okay? This is him in early April, and this is him today. Like, you could totally tell, this is the real one, and then this is the AI generated one. Guys, he's so dead. Like, this is him in April. This is the AI one. So, I mean, we all knew he was AI. So yeah, he must have been like sent to hell at some point. And Gandalf is right. In order to not lose face or show how badly they've been attacked and destroyed by the United States and Israel, they're literally using like AI, right? It's just like the weirdest thing. Anyway, so there you go. So that's why I've been, I was kind of explaining that they're attacking a whole bunch of places, and they're using cluster bombs. Where was it? So there we go, right? So where was it? One ballistic missile, explosions. Wait, where was this? Right. So the missile that was launched at Bahrain was carrying cluster munitions warhead, which is used to target civilians as well. All right. Now, let's continue with the breaking news. So an American projectile landed in Qishb, details under investigation. And then earlier today, 3 blasts shook Ahvaz. Ahvaz is the capital city of Khuzestan. Ahvaz is also, as you guys may well already know, my city of birth. So this is Ahvaz here. Occupied Ahvaz is right there. Let me zoom out a little bit for you guys. Well, anyways. There we go. So Ahvaz is right there. It's kind of like, it's really close to the border of Iraq. It's close to Bandar Mashhad. A lot of IRGC bases there as well. So Ahvaz is like right there. It's like in this area of Iran, Khuzestan, and of course Khuzestan is the oil province of Iran. So all the oil and everything, that's where most of it comes from, and the production facilities are. Okay, so blasts in Ahvaz, and then CENTCOM confirmed that they've begun additional strikes on Iran, targeting capabilities used to attack shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. So when CENTCOM says they're targeting capabilities used to attack shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, that's here, right? So remember, all of these different cities and all the different IRGC bases and Khatam al-Anbiya Navy HQ and everything, it's all happening over there. Okay, now, guys, are you enjoying this? Like, I know I'm kind of going into like a deep dive into the the geography and the history and the background, because I know like you hear a lot of these names, but you just don't really, it's hard to kind of picture where they are and all of that. So let me know if you're appreciating this, or if I should just like speed it up. And then so he's reporting more blasts in Ahvaz, and then Ahvaz Ahvaz Airport, and CENTCOM confirmed that they've resumed the blockade. So now we're going to get into more recent news. So Scott Bennett confirmed that they're expanding sanctions against Shamkhani's illicit shipping empire. So guys, Shamkhani, if that last name sounds familiar, that's because on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, this is Shamkhani, okay? So Shamkhani was one of the top people within the IRGC, and him and his terrorist family, they are worth billions and billions of dollars. In fact, Shamkhani's son owns one of the largest international shipping companies, which, by the way, is headquartered in Dubai, in the UAE. I'll leave that with you guys. So his son, that's his son that's being sanctioned, okay, by Scott Bessent. So this is, I think, one of his sons. Illicit shipping empire, designating over 50 individuals, entities, and vessels involved in Iranian oil exports. So Shamkhani, the Shamkhani family, right, him and his like bastard sons and his concubines and whatever, like they were all responsible. So all of the oil that the Islamic regime has been secretly shipping out of occupied Iran was done through their international cargo shipping company, headquartered in the UAE, in Dubai. Scott Bessent finally sanctioned that, which I'm very grateful for, because for those of you who are wondering, how is it that the Islamic regime was able to get around the sanctions? Well, it was because of this illicit shipping empire that the Shamkhani family had created for the specific purpose of getting around the U.S. sanctions. So remember, this Durka, he was exterminated sometime, I think in like late March, and they couldn't find his head. So when they buried him, they had to bury him without his head, which is kind of funny. I think anyway, a fitting end for a Muslim Nazi terrorist. Literally, like this family is worth billions of dollars, and those are billions of dollars stolen from the Iranian people to fund their terrorism, but also for them to live lavish, luxurious Western lifestyles in, countries that are not in occupied Iran. So that's been sanctioned. Finally. Couldn't come sooner. But let's learn more about this. So, key financial associates. Hossein Ghorbani Zahid, primary financier providing exchange house services and foreign currency access. Beneficial owner of Golden Nest Group Limited in Dubai and director of BSG Management Limited Dubai. I called it. I told you. I said all of these illicit companies that support the Islamic regime and help them evade sanctions, most of them are located in Dubai. Mohammad Reza Rahbar Madani, Iranian Dominica, key financier for network operations and shell company access, owns Iran-flagged vessel Erica. Ali Rahbar Madani, Iranian/Russian, head of shipping operations linked to multiple sanctioned companies, including Koban Shipping, Krios Shipping, and Marvi's SMC DMCC, owner of Alkina Commercial Broker LLC. Oh, and then there's a random Danish person involved. Martin Austin Kalund, Danish, former global CFO of sanctioned House of Shipping Investment, FZCO, co-founder of Everett Strategy Consulting, LLC. And then there's this Italian person, Alessandra Ronco, former global CEO of House of Shipping, co-founder of Everett Strategy Consulting. Asghar Alili Dehkordi. I could replace this with something else, but that's fine. Iranian, strategic role across multiple network companies, including Milavis Group Limited. And then they have operational personnel. They have a whole bunch of Indian and then a random British person. Anyway, so there you go. And then where else? So containerized shipping network. So now let's get into the shipping network. So there's one company in Singapore. There's a freight shipping company in Dubai. There's another freight shipping company in Dubai. And then designated vessel owners and fleet. Dubai, Marshall Islands, Hong Kong, St. Kitts, Marshall Islands. And then the sea lead managed vessels. It's the Panama flag, Antigua, and Barbuda. And then Captain Sea Fleet, they're all Iran's. And then Shamkhani controlled vessels, right? Undisclosed ownership. So these are 4 vessels owned by the Shamkhani Empire, undisclosed. And then they also have tanker fleets. So Treasury notes this brings the total Shamkhani network designations to over 200 individuals, entities, and vessels since targeting began in July of 2025. Actions taken under Executive Order 13902 targeting key Iranian economic centers. So aside from the military operations, right, and those booms that have been going on for the last few days, Operation Economic Fury is still going strong, if not even stronger than before, because they're now going after the illicit shipping companies that have existed for, the last 47 years, pretty much, right? The United States is systematically dismantling the global network that the IRGC has built for the last 47 years. And they're doing it like that, right? Okay. Now, CENTCOM had an announcement earlier. So over the past 7 days, Iran, he means the Islamic regime, has intentionally targeted civilians across the region by attacking 7 commercial ships, resulting in nearly a dozen civilian crew members killed, missing, or injured. Iranian forces have also launched dozens of missiles and drones toward neighboring Gulf countries. Persian Gulf. U.S. forces are holding Iran accountable for unwarranted aggression that continues to endanger innocent lives. I mean, as you should, right? Oh, and then look, 2 ballistic missiles launched from Oromiyeh, West Azerbaijan province, Iran. That's in the northeastern part, right? And then this is, guys, so this is 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago. So, aside from all of the boom booms and the activity happening in the southern part of Iran, we're now seeing launches happening in Tabriz. So Tabriz is up here. So when you think of Iran as the cat, Tabriz is like right at the center of the head. So this is the head. These are the 2 ears. And this is Tabriz over here. So I'm about to share with you breaking footage posted just a few hours ago of a ballistic missile launch from Tabriz. Wow. There you go. So that's some breaking footage. I already shared this clip of President Trump earlier. State-owned Mehr News. U.S. strike hit a location in Dehloran a few minutes ago. Damage assessment pending. So even the Islamic regime is now confirming that the United States has been successfully striking their IRGC bases. All right, that's pretty much it. That's it for, oh, nope, we have new posts. So what do we have here? So, okay. 2 hours ago, Bahrain announced that they're being attacked. So the strikes are literally happening right now as we are speaking. So the Islamic regime is continuing to attack Bahrain, and and Kuwait as well. So an hour ago, so literally during this live stream when I started, the Islamic regime launched ballistic missiles at Bahrain and at Kuwait once again. And we've heard new explosions in Bushehr. So going back to our map, this is Bushehr here. Okay, Bushehr is one of the main port cities that has a number of IRGC bases, but also ballistic missile launchers there. So Shin is reporting that ballistic missile launchers were apparently hit in Bushehr. Good. 43 minutes ago, more explosions heard in Mashhad. So this is Mashhad up here, remember. So about an hour ago, Kuwait announced that it is intercepting missiles being launched by the Islamic regime. And literally within moments, right? Within moments. So like an hour ago, Kuwait announced that. 47 minutes ago, Shin is reporting that explosions have been heard in the Mashhad area, but more than just Mashhad. So Iranians are reporting همین الان سر بندر 4 بار بهش حمله شد احتمالاً سایت موشکیش بود. So basically this Iranian is saying that there have been 4 strikes on Sar Bandar in Mashhad, Khuzestan province, Iran, and the witness believes it was possibly the missile site that was targeted. So the person who is informing Shin about those strikes in Mashhad is saying that he thinks that the missile launchers were targeted, which again goes to show the United States is not going after civilians, right? Contrary to what the Islamic regime claims, the United States is only attacking IRGC bases. So, the IRGC is claiming the U.S. Logistics Center, KJL, in Mina Abdullah, Kuwait, set on fire and destroyed in fourth wave of Operations Nasr 2. Says Hormuz Strait remains closed until end of U.S. hostilities. So even though, guys, remember, it was the Islamic regime that started this round of attacks, right? The Islamic regime started this round of attacks when they launched ballistic missiles and struck cargo ships that were navigating through the Strait of Hormuz. And in response to this attack by the Islamic regime, the United States went after them. So it's absolutely crazy that they're now trying to gaslight and claim that they're going to continue attacking until the United States ends hostilities, right? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so guys, President Trump was not joking. President Trump was not joking. 12 minutes ago, explosions reported in Chabahar, Sistan, and Baluchistan province. So guys, going back to our map, this is Chabahar. This is Chabahar right here. Okay, so now we can confirm there have been boom booms in Mashhad, in Bushehr, Bandar Abbas, Chabahar. Just guys, we're probably going to hear of boom booms happening all across, all around here, right? And these are where all the major IRGC bases are, right? So all of them are currently under heavy bombardment. Wow. Okay. Yep, explosions in Chabahar. So there you go. That's sort of, what's happening right now. So literally, as we're sitting here, as we're speaking, the United States right now is heavily bombing IRGC bases and targets in the Middle East. Oh, okay, breaking news. We have a post by CENTCOM. So I'm gonna read this, and then probably gonna call it a night for now. So this was posted 8 minutes ago by CENTCOM. So CENTCOM completes more strikes against Iran. U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, completed an additional round of strikes against Iran at 10 p.m. Eastern, July 14, hitting dozens of military targets near the Strait of Hormuz and Iranian coastal areas. U.S. fighter aircraft, drones, and naval vessels launched precision munitions. Remember, guys, precision munitions are different than cluster munitions, right? Precision munitions target a single place, whereas the cluster ones, that's what the Islamic regime uses to go after civilians. So, U.S. fighter aircraft, drones, and naval vessels launched precision munitions against Iranian missile and drone sites, naval capabilities, and coastal defense systems during the 7-hour wave. Oh my gosh, they were so CENTCOM just okay, so it's 10:20. So 20 minutes ago, CENTCOM finished a 7-hour wave of boom booms against the Islamic regime. Wow. Good for them. Good for you. And coastal defense systems during the 7-hour wave to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping and civilian crews. The strikes took place the same day U.S. forces resumed the naval blockade against vessels transiting to or from Iranian ports and coastal areas. The blockade went into effect at 4 p.m. Eastern today. U.S. forces remain vigilant, lethal, and prepared to execute operations directed by the commander-in-chief. And all right, we have some footage from CENTCOM. Now, as usual, the footage from CENTCOM comes without audio, but that's okay because we'll add our own background music. So here we go. Here's the audio. Here's the video footage from CENTCOM. Here we go. One more time. One more time. There you go. There you go, guys. So the music fits very well with the footage from CENTCOM. But there you go. So that was released from CENTCOM. Let me see if they have any other footage. So that was released by CENTCOM literally like 8 minutes ago. Yeah, that's it. Oh, there you go. There you go. So, the guys, so this is exactly what I've been showing you, right? So this entire area here, all the various cities, right? Like that literally coincides with the map that I've been sharing you, where I'm showing the locations of the major IRGC bases that have been targeted by CENTCOM. Okay. So let me go to your questions and comments. Guys, thank you everyone for your patience. So yeah, we'll go to your questions and comments, and then of course I'm going to call it a night, but we'll be back tomorrow for Iran Revolution Live first, and then in the evening for the Goldie Show. So Tari says, yes, of course, good. I shared this earlier, but good day, Goldie, long time watcher here. I really respect what you do. Love from Australia. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. Sending all my love to you in Australia. Thomas Orbeck, Punisher 66, says he is tuning in from Lansing, Michigan. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Macy Dixon, we caught the gay, ironic Iranian-American regime bootlicker in Hawaii who was making the Lego videos attacking Loomer. Wow, I'm looking forward to news soon that he is being picked up by ICE. Really? Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look into that. That's wild. I'm glad that he was found. William says, thanks. Pinto was how I found you. Keep it true. Thank you. Julia Roses, united we stand, divided we fall, Bapish. Paul, thank you so much. Yes, I absolutely agree. United we stand, divided we fall. And that's why all of us right now are united, whether American, Israeli, Iranian, or any other person from anywhere around the world, we're all united because we have a common enemy, and that's the Islamic regime and their jihad. So, yeah, I mean, who would have thought that, people would be tuning in to listen and watch an Iranian who is celebrating the fact that the United States and hopefully Israel soon are currently booming the IRGC and sending them back to hell where they belong. But there you go. And I'm very, very happy that all of you are here with me and are tuning in so we can enjoy the fireworks together. Next, we have a comment from Omid. Did you hear Ahmadinejad was reportedly in contact with Israeli intelligence for over a year and he's under house arrest now by the IRGC? He's not actually under house arrest. I saw a post by someone. He was out walking the streets a few hours ago. He doesn't really look like someone who's on house arrest. I actually think that's fake. I think that's fake. I think that's just a rumor. Remember, the IRGC is literally hanging innocent Iranians every day under the false crime of, being a Mossad spy or Mossad agent. So it doesn't make sense to me that they're now, having Ahmadinejad under house arrest, right? I don't know. I won't believe it unless and until Israel actually admits this. This could just be like a false flag for all we know. The Islamic regime is really good at that. So, I heard about it, but it hasn't really been confirmed. So, who knows what to think. PC Love says, free Iran. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm Israel Chai. Steak and beans. So if a building has two pointy top, it is a target. Yeah, pretty much. Tammy Eaton, IRGC HQ could be its own country. # Turkmenistan, LOL. I agree, yeah. Like IRGC HQ is like Turkmenistan. And yeah, that's actually exactly how occupied Iran is right now, right? It's we're occupied by Durkas, and they've imposed their Turkmenistan over Iran. Marine says, عشق به مردم ایران رژیم از زمین برود این متن به الفبای فارسی که الفبای رسمی مردم ایران است نوشته شده. So one of our viewers has very kindly sent a message in Persian. I think you've probably Google translated this. So basically Marine is saying, love to the people of Iran. The regime will be eradicated from the earth. And then in brackets, this message was written in Persian. And, these are the formal, like the official letters, official language of the Iranian people. So thank you so much for that, Marine. Appreciate the effort. Means a lot. PC loves Goldie. I do not think the son of the late Ayatollah is still around. Someone else is in charge of Iran. Well, so here's the thing. We already know. I've already been saying for a long time, right? When you look at the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, we already know that Mojtaba is not in charge. Okay, so he hasn't been in charge since the beginning. And remember, it was the IRGC. It was the IRGC, especially Vahidi, that was pushing for Mojtaba to become the supreme dictator because they knew something. They knew that they could control him in a way, or maybe he's dead or something. So, yeah, who knows if he's alive or dead? But even if he is alive, he might as well be dead because he's incredibly useless, right? We haven't seen him or heard from him or anything. So, whether or not he's alive or dead is irrelevant. They're keeping him around or keeping his image around as like a figurehead while all of them are playing the game of Durka behind the scenes, vying for power. But the one thing I can say is that Mojtaba is certainly not in charge. Royna Pora says, hair looks great tonight. Thank you. Anyway, Iraq is bending against the IRGC, which is very different from 6 months ago. Progress. I agree. And guys, everyone's seeing the writing on the wall. Remember, I think it was even, was it yesterday or today that the UK, I think it was yesterday, that the UK designated the IRGC finally as a terrorist entity. even though Mujtaba here has hundreds of millions of dollars worth in property assets in the UK. In fact, one of those residences overlooks the Israeli embassy. So, fun fact. But yeah, I think, guys, the writing is on the wall. The writing is on the wall, and everyone is slowly turning away from the IRGC. Okay. Minor Dine, I may have missed it. Did you cover Marco Rubio on the ICC? No, I have not actually covered Marco Rubio. I'm going to have to save that for tomorrow, because tonight my focus was more on, what President Trump is doing, and also which targets is, are they currently attacking. So tonight's focus was more sort of a deeper dive on these locations and why they're significant and what exactly is there and why the United States are targeting them. But I will get to Marco Rubio probably tomorrow night, depending on, of course, how much news there is. Like, guys, there's so much news to cover. Like, I've been speaking for 3 hours nonstop right now, and I feel like I could speak for hours more, but I have to sleep and do other things as well. But never. One thing I can say is that there is never lack of news, right? There's always something to talk about. And Minor Dine, absolutely, I will speak about Marco Rubio and the ICC tomorrow. Thank you for your super chat. Persian Evangelicals says, please tell everyone Iranians support only His Royal Highness Crown Prince Pahlavi, whose name was chanted by the Javidnams. All other oppositions have ties to IRGC. Javid Shah, God bless USA, Amir Rochai. Yes, absolutely, 100%. And on Iran Revolution Live every day, which I live stream earlier, I go more in depth into what's happening with the Iranian people, with His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi, with the Iranian freedom fighters and the movement. So for anyone who's interested in more of an in-depth look into Iran and the Iranian people and, our movement to free Iran, and our movement to free Iran, that's where Iran Revolution Live comes in. And I do in-depth, and I kind of go more into the history of Iran, and I speak about the revolution and all that stuff. Yes, I've made it very clear several times, both on this show and my other live stream, that the Iranian people only support His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Iran, the Shah of Iran, as many of us call him, Reza Pahlavi. And I actually had a very interesting Iran Revolution Live today. So you want to go check that out, because I spoke about some very interesting things. Thank you so much for the comment, Persian Evangelicals. Tammy Eaton, it's my birthday and I wish and pray for a free Iran. Guys, you know what that means. It is Tammy's birthday. It is Tammy's birthday. So we're going to play the Iranian birthday song. Okay. Where is it? So, in honor of Tammy's birthday and everyone who is celebrating their birthday, we're going to wish you all a very happy birthday. Here you go.
شد و لبت خوش شد و
So, Tammy, a very, very happy birthday to you. Wishing you all the best on your very special day. And thank you so much for your birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. Means so much to all of us. And I know all of us appreciate you. And we wish you all the best. And thank you. Thank you for sharing your birthday with us and giving me another excuse to play the Iranian happy birthday song, because it is a very fun and cute song. Happy birthday. Tom says, as always, a great rundown. I hope one day we can free your people, and glad you like our hype videos. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, you're referring to the CENTCOM one? Yeah. Oh my gosh, your hype videos are fantastic. Like, CENTCOM's hype videos are very good. Okay, I have a few more. I have breaking news footage to share with you guys after I go to the super chats. Okay. Laszlo says, we love you, Goldie. Best Ahvaz export ever. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess you could refer to me as an Ahvaz export. That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you so much. That's a very kind comment. Lori Georgiou says, love your shows. Thank you from Tampa. Thank you so much for tuning in. Always great to hear from our American viewers. God bless America. We love America. And thank you guys for everything you're doing. PC Loves wishes Tammy a very happy birthday. Okay, guys, I lied. I'm not going to end the show. I'm not going to end the show just yet because I went to Shin and we have some new breaking footage of Boom Booms. So let's get right into it. Like 5 minutes ago, received images with description. Explosion of the attack on Chabahar around 5:30 a.m. Wednesday, July 24. Wait, what time is it? This is wrong. The date's wrong. It's not let me get the proper translation here. What is it saying? ای وای! نه مال همین الانه. Wait. Yeah, okay. So it's 6:11 a.m. So these boom booms are from literally like 40 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago. It's the 24th. So remember, guys, in for us, the Iranian calendar, it's not July 24th. No, sorry. So it is the 24th, but it's not the 24th of July. It's the 24th of the month of Tir. So we follow the Iranian calendar, not the Durga calendar. The Muslims have their own calendar. This is the Iranian calendar. It's specific to Iran. So the 24th of Tir coincides with the 14th of July. But guys, these are fresh boom booms from 40 minutes ago in Chabahar. Am I at the right city? Am I saying? Yeah. Chabahar. So remember, guys, Chabahar is here. So I was speaking about the boom booms that were happening in Mashhad and Bushehr and Bandar Abbas. The footage that just came out a few minutes ago from the attacks by the United States against IRGC bases, that's here in Chabahar, which is very close to the border of Pakistan. Okay, so this is Chabahar. So now let's go and look at these very fresh boom booms. So this is, whoa, look at that. And this is 5:30 a.m. Iran time. So this is Wednesday morning. So this would have been the last. So CENTCOM probably put out their statement probably like just a few minutes after this final round of strikes, which again, confirms what I was saying, that the United States has been like in the last 24 to 48 hours, they have been not just targeting one or two bases, they've been targeting all of them simultaneously, right? So from Mashhad in the western part of the country all the way to Chabahar, which is here, they've been targeting all of the IRGC bases simultaneously. Okay, so this is the first picture. This is video, but it has no audio. So this is right after the facility was targeted. Sideways.
No.
So as you can see, so this Iranian, he's very excited. He's very excited. And he hears the boom booms. So what does he do? He runs onto the rooftop of his house. Also, you can see like there's 3 Iranians here as well. Sorry guys, this is just like the footage from X, so I can't like twist it around, so you'll just have to watch it sideways. But what's funny is you can see there's 3 Iranian people here, right? Like there's 3 guys. There. Oh, you can actually zoom in. Oh, perfect. So you see, so there's 3 guys here, and when they heard the boom booms, they also go up to the rooftop and they're just casually standing there and they're filming as well. Yeah, and he sounds excited. So he's basically like, come, like come see, like don't miss it, right? So like all the like the regular normal non-Durka Iranians, they're basically like going to the rooftops and they're filming. And he's all excited. You can see the smoke there.
No.
And then this is the next one.
کلانتری فکر کنم.
Oh, he says kalantari fik konam. So the accent in the south eastern part is a little bit different from like the like different regions have different accents, right? Think of like how different states in the United States have their own sort of dialect and accent. Same thing with Iranians, right? So you can tell where someone is from by, you know, the accent they speak, kind of like how you can tell an American, you know, whether they're from Texas or New York, based on their accent and the way they speak, right? So they're saying kalantari fik mikonam, which basically means I think they hit the police station. So kalantari is police station. And remember earlier today on Iran Revolution Live, when I was sharing videos of Islamic regime police, I was showing that the police, they are part of the Islamic regime and they murder the Iranian people. No, he didn't say kotak, he said kalantari. Kalantari means police station.
کلانتری فکر کنم. بله.
And then someone behind him is like, they hit the kalantari, and he's like, bale. Bale means yes.
کلانتری فکر کنم.
Wow.
بله.
And you see like the guy, like the guy who's asking behind him, he almost sounds like excited. He's like, what? They hit the kalantari? Right?
بله.
There you go. So that's some fresh footage that literally came out just moments ago. Literally 15 minutes ago. Oh, wait. Wait, what's going on here? What happened to my thing? Where'd it go? Okay, and then this is... What's this? Oh! Whoa! look at this guy. So this is the Logistics and Support Center of the Law Enforcement Command's Maritime Police in Bushehr. So this is one of the bases that the IRGC uses as a command center to engage in terrorizing cargo ships in the Persian Gulf, right? So this facility here is located in Bushehr, and this facility was boomed, yesterday. So Bushehr is here, okay? So literally, like all these places, all these IRGC bases in all of these areas are being boomed. So there's that. And then here we go. This is where I was. I was just looking at the latest from Shin. So IRGC claims missile and drone strikes on U.S. Satellite Communications Center, Air Defense Radar, Patriot Air Defense Complex, U.S. Military Base Readiness Facility, and HIMARS launch platforms in Kuwait. So the Islamic regime is apparently claiming that they've attacked American military bases in Kuwait. Let's see how accurate that is. Again, remember, the Islamic regime, they use cluster munitions, which is a war crime. So who knows what's happening there. But President Trump was not exaggerating. President Trump was not exaggerating when he said that he's hitting all of them very hard and that the strikes will continue and he's going to hit them even harder tomorrow night. So there you go. That's the latest breaking news and update. I wanted to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's evening edition of The Goldie Show. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you all for your support and for your comments. Always a pleasure to hang out with you as we watch the United States exterminate the Islamic regime. And as always, I'm happy to give you my political analysis and commentary with, of course, some latest breaking news here and there mixed in between, as we saw happening tonight. And guys, I will see you all tomorrow. I'm Goldie Gamari. You have been watching The Goldie Show. And as always, now you know. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.